Yo, 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 yo. Hello?
We live? We good?
Yeah, we're live, bro. And we'll see if any chats pull up there. So, all right. What is going on, Miguel?
Are you in this?
I'll be in it. I'm about to walk over. It's a little delayed, but it's good to see you, man.
Oh, there's a little
Good
lag.
to- Yeah, it's just a little behind, you know? That's how it is with the stream.
All right, so how do we start this? Or how do
So,
you want to
welcome to
start it?
JLL Live. We're out here. We're going to be going into all these topics. We're going to be talking about all of the most important critical things that you could ever know in the universe. I mean, come on, bro. You watch this show, like, instead of going to college, that's basically it. Probably. I mean, it's like
Everything all in one.
it's like everything all in one. Yeah, you could take every major in one sitting just by sitting here and watching this show. Look, look, I don't do it. So let's get started, man. Let's talk about just who you are, Miguel, the
There we
guest,
go.
and what you're, just give like a little, like elevator pitch of who you are and what you do. I know you give me a couple of haircuts throughout the days, you're nice with the.
Name's Miguel, like long walks on the beach, little Mai Tais. Nah. So, Miguel, barber, local, Frostburg local. Um, beer connoisseur, beer connoisseur. That's pretty much it. I wish I would have prepared for this. I would have gave like a
Of
nice
course.
professional response on this. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, wasn't sure how many people were gonna be on today, but would you like a Zen or something, man?
Oh no, I'm good. I got moments in there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how many people were gonna pull up, but I'm really glad we locked in because I know there's a lot of great topics we're gonna go over.
Mm, mm.
And I mean, just to start, I mean, we could talk about, you know, Tuskegee, the experiments that were done on people. So, like, what do you think about that, man?
Um, Tuskegee. I think that it was just
You're just like, bro, can we just talk about the Earth?
okay. I was about to say with the Tuskegee thing, so I skimmed a couple things. It was black. It was my fault. It was African American soldiers
Mm.
that our government did that too.
African American soldiers.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
when is soldiers?
I don't know if it was.
Okay, American pilots trained U.S. military served in war.
That's crazy that it was soldiers too.
Yeah. The study population consisted of 600 black men, 399 with syphilis, and 201
I
free of
mean,
disease.
that's the thing you gotta ask, is that an ethical experiment? What are they trying to figure out?
Hell no, and it's not ethical in any way, and it's kind of like what's going on with the COVID thing right now. China just created a strain of COVID that has a 100% kill rate in
No,
mice.
no, what?
Yes, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Bro.
Hold on. On mice or like, are we talking
On
about?
mice
Okay, okay.
or rats or whatever. Rodents,
Dude,
rodents.
that's crazy, man.
And so this is
We're fucked.
so the only
We're fucked.
uh
All right, everyone. Stock up on beans, tuna, all the canned foods.
right.
Look, you don't know when anything could go down. If you're making fun of people who are prepping, like I get it, but at the end of the day,
Some
like
people will be
I'll
prepared.
be able to live till 2026.
Yeah.
I know that. Okay, like if you don't know that you can live till 2026,
Shit.
that's a lot of uncertainty to have in your life.
Shit.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm just gonna go by the wind. So
I think
that's your choice.
I think that most households, especially for an era like we live in, we got these multiple seasons, specifically the one that we're in now. This is a crazy.
Oh, winter.
Oh
The
my
deep
God.
winter.
Yeah, like shit shut down. And I think that most households should have a pantry with enough food for at least I'm gonna say 90 days. But but yeah, no, it's crazy, man. The our government injecting syphilis into African Americans is wicked. Ethnical, I don't think it's ethnical in any way unless those people had signed an agreement or whatever ahead of
Well, yeah.
time. Because
Yeah.
you know, people do sign up for medical experiments all the time. They get paid for it. But this was unwillingly injected into men. The only thing
I mean, that goes even to like MK Ultra and all this shit, bro, or like Project fucking Midnight fucking what is it called? Project Midnight like Explosion Midnight Organ. No, it was like I forget what it's called, but it's like some crazy
Project Midnight Climax.
Midnight Climax where they would go have like two double-sided mirrors and watch dudes fucking people on LSD, fucking hookers and shit. Like,
oh man, speaking of our,
like what? Like these are the people who are hired. They're in our government. They work in our government. These are the people who work in our government. They like to watch that. Not, I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying that there are people in our government like that. That has to make you think a little bit.
dude, our government's crazy. Have you ever heard of the Willie Lynch syndrome?
What's that?
Oh my God. So in part of it, during the war, I forget exactly which war it was. I think it was maybe the Confederate War or whatever people call it. But
That damn Civil War.
listen, yeah. So our soldiers, and I hate to say this, but it was predominantly white soldiers, went to the homes of black men and they separated the man of the household away from his family. But they raped the man in his ass to assert dominance and fear over black men.
That's crazy.
That's true events. If you dive down the
I
rabbit
believe
hole,
it, dude. I believe it. Man.
It's
I mean,
wicked.
that is, that's one way to do it.
yeah, I mean to have mental dominance over somebody is tough. Like, yeah, you could beat somebody up, right? Like girls,
But if you,
but
I mean, look, this is not made for kids. Look, okay.
Yeah, definitely
I put
not.
that on the thing.
Mhm.
I can curse, but if you, it's someone's ass, bro. Yeah, you can beat someone up, but bro, they just took your soul. They
And
just stole your soul away from you.
man, they mentally screwed those
That's
people.
fucked up, man.
Well, you
It's
think,
really fucked up.
think about it, right? In domestic relationships, right? You got people who are abusive physically in their relationships, and then you got people that are mentally abusive in their relationships. And the people who deal with more mental abuse tend to have a lot more damage there than a physical situation. But yeah, no, our government does things that make me question everything in life. Like, why the hell are we doing this? Like, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, so that experiment, over 100 men died whenever they got, yeah, 100 men. Yep, 100 men because a lot of them didn't even know they had syphilis. But as a result of all that, at least 100 men died during that experiment. It was wicked.
Well, all right, we can talk about Operation Gladio, which is something that happened during the Cold War. It's false flag operations during the Cold War set up by governments to initiate proxy wars and stuff like this. I mean, do you think that's something that's relevant to what we're living in today?
Hold on, let me do a quick
Search.
search, yeah.
Yeah, it's Operation Gladio, Gladio. You see that shit, bro?
Operation Gladio was the code name for clandestine stay-behind operations of armed resistance that were organized by our Western Union, founded in 1948, and subsequently by NATO, formed in 1949, and by the CIA, established in 1947. Collaboration with several European intelligence agencies during the Cold War.
Yeah, so they would basically fund revolutions that are like they would be like communist revolutions or like terrorist attacks pulled out by communists in Western countries. Right. So they would fund these operations, and then they would use those terror attacks or revolutionaries to enforce like different kinds of like legislation or justify going to war, for example.
You know what's crazy about that, right? Off topic but on topic, right?
All right.
Drugs.
Okay.
So drugs always has to be a thing in America. And you know, these CIA declassified documents that come out every so often, it talks about how the drug war, right, funds these little wars and operations. So I think that these
What do you mean by that? Like with the drug war funding these operations? Like how?
so think about this, right? So how much shit comes across the border from Mexico alone? I'm gonna do a quick search.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
How much drugs do you think comes across the border from Mexico? Just Mexico alone.
I mean,
So you
it
got,
depends what you're talking about. Like how much, how many pounds?
yeah, how many kilos of coke do you think is coming across the border from Mexico? And how much money do you think?
A lot.
And how much
An
money?
incomprehensible amount, probably.
Yeah, and how much
To
do you,
my feeble mind.
yeah, and think about the money that has to go back to pay the people. Now, what happens to that money that we confiscate? Say we confiscate, uh, what was the guy's name? El Chapo used to build tunnels. So El Chapo, right? How much money did we confiscate from him? Millions and millions. I think he was alleged to be, his worth was like $4 billion or something like that. So, say we stop people at the border transporting the money back. Um, our government confiscates it. What do you think happens to that money?
Just goes to the government.
Just goes to government, huh? What do you do if?
I mean, I've heard stories also of like, police guys, there's been a lot of corrupt police, especially in like Baltimore, where they would bust a den, like a trap house or something, raid it. There's 10K, and they're like, all right, 2K to each officer, and then we'll give 2K as like what we found.
Always been.
You know what I'm saying? Like some shit, they're like, all right, hey, let's, and then they're like, all right, yeah, we found 2K in the trap house.
Yeah, well, you think about that, right? So people like El Chapo who get their shit busted or whatever, that money, we may not know about it now, but later on, like I said, CIA declassified documents, you'll see like, oh, our government used confiscated drug money to fund little operations like Operation Gladio because they won't get the funding through the chain of command through our own government. So I think
That's always an option, man.
and these little operations, why do we keep having these little operations?
I feel like it's because there has to be, you need a justification. So after something like Pearl Harbor happens, you know what I mean? You don't even have to have a draft for a war. And I mean, I don't know, but after 9/11 happens, you don't have to have a draft because so many people will volunteer. They want to go fight these wars because they're hurt or that they feel like a sense of justice, So if you can impact the people psychologically and, have a communist, funded revolution in some country that's violent, then the people are going to support legislation to suppress that shit because they see how crazy these communists are acting, going and doing all this. Oh, yeah. Then, yeah, I'll support legislation to shut down this kind of speech or close these organizations or make it illegal to have, certain gatherings of people. You know what I mean?
Right. Speaking of government, I'm throwing a curveball in here.
All right. Let's go.
What do you think? Who do you think the next president should be?
Donald John Trump. I mean, come on.
I mean, if I had
who else is it gonna be?
If I had a MAGA hat, I'd throw one on now too.
I can get one for you.
Yeah, I know. But so me, right? I believe that Trump should be the next president, right? Now, I haven't researched everything he's done for the last 20, 30 years. But there's one...
Geeks.
There's
We're going to be researching everything he's done. All right.
But there is one...
Right.
There is one significant thing that I can say about Trump, right? That makes him I feel like the most suitable for our country. And that is his business mindset, right? Before he even got in office, this guy became a billionaire, right? And you got to think, right? America is a piece of property. And when you own property, you got to do things to that property and out and around it.
And the
So
government's the only business that is like a fucking legal monopoly, man.
literally, Russia,
You know,
piece of
they're the
property.
only government that will be in this market.
I think that his business-like mindset makes him great to run the country because if you got a great business mindset, right?
Mm.
I see it as if, okay, America, our land, our piece of property. You know, how am I supposed to sustain this, make this run, so on and so forth? Well, I got to be able to talk to other people, right? Vladimir Putin or Vladimir, yeah, the fuck is his name?
Vladimir Putin.
Putin, yeah.
And then there's
Yeah.
Vladimir Zelensky.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
They're both named Vladimir.
And they hate each
That
other.
tells you enough about what that war is. It's a war of brothers. I mean, it's sick.
Well, it is. It's very sick. But yeah, I think that Trump has a great business mindset, and you got to know how to trade, so on and so forth. And he knows how to deal with other people, I feel like, due to his business-like mindset.
Yeah.
And
I mean, look at the moment when Trump was up there on the stage, just like, and Hillary Clinton says, you know, he hasn't paid his taxes in how many years? Da, da, da. Like, he isn't paying full taxes. Yeah, well, if you change the tax code, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I use the same loopholes that all you and all of your funders use.
shit, you know, Trump said,
Come on, bro. He just said, look, that's what it is.
here's another thing to think.
Am I not supposed to use the tax code that is literally legislated by politicians who have been in there in Senate their whole lives, like fucking working, you know, no term limits, not doing anything?
Did you see what Trump promised if he gets elected again?
What did he promise?
Trump promised that he would get rid of the job tax if he's elected again.
You mean like income tax?
No, like your besides the federal shit, right? You know your state or whatever tax thing, like
Yeah.
see if I can pull this up. But he said I think it's the job tax. So you pretty much get the totality, pretty much the gross of your paycheck.
That sounds great. I mean, dude, income tax wasn't even implemented until 1914.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's when it first got implemented full time, and the only time it was implemented before that was during the Civil War by Abraham Lincoln, and he used it basically as like a funding operation for the Union Army. It was like a 3% tax on your income.
Okay.
But yeah, full time income tax. 1914, around the same time that the Federal Reserve was brought into America, which is an interesting, you know, the Federal Reserve, you know.
My fault, correction. Income tax. Yeah, the payroll tax.
Will be terminating the payroll tax, so that will mean anywhere from 5,000 to even more per family, and also great for businesses and great for jobs. A lot of people
Great
are
for-
very happy to
dude.
hear that. A lot of the great, certainly conservative economists will be great to have. They think that's the greatest thing we can do. That's better than the payments. That's better than anything
Dude,
else.
dude. I mean, it's the greatest thing. I mean, like, when he's talking, you can't help but just be like, yeah, man, it's the greatest thing we can do. Like, we need some of that energy. We need that high energy. We don't need this low energy. We don't need this low energy Joe Biden, fucking Biden, you know.
But I hate to say it, man. I love my country, but we have the most incompetent leader there has ever had in all of history. I can't believe it's gotten to this point. It's ridiculous.
I know what you mean,
I
man.
fear for my kids' kids in this nation sometimes when looking at a president like Biden, right? That's the thing over in Gaza right now. He provided the support and the relief. He provided the support to Israel and also sent $6 million to Palestine. What president, what person is going to support or is going to give the support and the relief? That just is so incompetent.
Yeah, I mean, It's crazy, man. It's crazy, especially with what's going on with Israel, you know. And I mean, that's something you don't even want to broach, you know, that topic, you know.
I stand with Gaza.
Yeah, I get that. I feel like for me, it's like, bro, I stand with victims of this shit, bro. Because at the end of the day, it's just fucked up, bro.
Oh, it's very
I
funny.
mean, like we were talking about Operation Gladio with the false flag operations. You know, Mossad and the Mossad's like the CIA of Israel. You know that they knew something, bro. And the border, there just wasn't security on the border. When is there not security on the border of Israel? They're surrounded by nations that want them gone. I'm just saying, it's like, are you telling me that the government of Israel was just unprepared? They're just sitting there like, oh, whoa, what happened? Like, bro, y'all been facing this for since you ever existed. That's all it's been. Of course, I mean, come on, man. So it's just a shame. So I guess next, I guess let's get into abortion. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, I think I like the law. I think I like the fact that women shouldn't have a right to abortion. I mean, most countries, right,
mm,
abide by, or they pretty much stand by religion, right?
mm,
And all religion, right, for the most part, the more positive side of it is it doesn't have anything. I've never read anything about, and even in history, I've never read anything, I've heard anything about in history where it was okay or where women did try to get rid of their baby first, second, third trimester. Like it's wicked. And in certain states now, we have laws that says you can do full term abortion. That's even more fucking wicked,
it
right?
is wicked, bro.
And this
It
is
is pretty fucking wicked when you're thinking late term abortions, bro.
fuck
That's a
yeah.
wicked thing
Mm,
to even comprehend.
and a woman will say, right, women who do or who are okay with any type of abortion, right?
Mm,
Women that partake in abortion will not see that as a heinous act. To me, if I go kill somebody, it's murder. I'm going to go to jail for the rest of my life. If a woman aborts her baby, and especially a woman who full term aborts her baby, that's still murder. You're taking a life. But that shit is socially accepted. And that shit, that it's just backwards.
yeah.
A lot of excuse or, my answer or my opinion on this, right? This has been said multiple times by men, but it says that people say that if a woman has a right to abortion, right? Whether or not the guy wants to have it or not, right? They have the right to abortion. But a man doesn't have the right to financially be there or not be there. We don't have that right.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And that's something that's been called out. You're right. A bunch of people have said that, and I think that it makes sense. It's like, it's an obligation, and I get what you're coming at. It's an inequality of the law,
very.
right? But at the same time, I don't think that the answer, and when you're talking about abortion, that's why I don't think the answer is, oh, well, let's not make men pay child support. I think that the answer is you need to seriously limit abortions. You need to figure out, what's the source of that. It shouldn't be something that, especially, is paid for by my tax dollars. If I'm paying taxes and it's paying to have these abortions taking place,
Mm-hmm.
like food is cheap.
It I just feel that, and it's. I know this person, right? I've got a couple homegirls. I won't say their names,
Of course, yeah.
but they have had abortions, right? And they're still Christian, or so they believe. And I think that honestly, females who have abortions, right? Somebody who takes a life. The topic is abortion, but so strictly females. That's why I'm saying females. Females who partake in abortion and still continue on with Christianity. I feel as though that they're not going to go to the place that they think is heaven.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. For me though, with Christ, I feel though there's a, you know, if a lot of people live their life in ignorance, and so when something like that takes place, you know, and they can feel the gravity of it, you know, I feel like that Christ is merciful, that he'll give an opportunity if you repent and you try to change your life, you know. But it's just the repeated, you know, disregard, or, you know, I think that that's what casts you more into those places. Then I think that in our society where we grow up and the way everyone is, you know, the world is of the devil, man. So
One of the
I gotta cut that homegirl some slack, you know, with that. It's like,
Well, think about this,
I
right?
feel like a lot of times when women get abortions and this and that, it also stays with them for a long time, especially after it happens.
I think that the law should be changed on abortion. I think abortion should never be permitted except for one thing, right? Um, I think it's completely heinous, and I think that no woman should be allowed to have an abortion unless she is a victim of rape,
Yeah.
and that's it. I think that is the only justifiable time.
Well, of course, and that's an argument that's commonly brought up, you know, an extreme argument. And I think that the reason it's often brought up is because it's such a circumstance where it almost is like, oh my God, yeah, you wouldn't want to have to keep that baby. A lot of the times, though, that's a circumstance that's just justifying, you know, all the other positions. But regardless, I think that that's a kind of tired topic, and it's, you know, something that is talked about a lot.
Yeah, it'll forever be an ongoing thing too, though.
Okay, I mean, I was gonna say gender quotas as another topic, but we don't even need to talk about that. I mean, come on.
Men are men, women are women.
It's like, all right, if we're gonna have gender quotas, here, I'll talk about the whole fucking argument. Like, 99% of plumbers are men. 99. If you don't want to equalize that, then I don't want to hear anything else.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying? It's like, what does it have to be? 50, like, all right, like, let's form how about we create greater opportunity for people to do what the fuck they want to do best?
well, we
Like,
we
yeah.
technically already have it.
Yeah, we
Every-
already have it. We're trying to get rid of it to make it like we'd like it to be instead of like it is. We have actually the best society for sorting what people are good at, what they are able to do. And instead we want to go beyond that and say, no, actually we know better what people should be doing than just a market would decide.
I got something for you, right?
All right.
On the subject, right? So, women say that they have less rights than men. And I call out any woman to find a right that a man has more than a woman. And I don't even think that a woman should even argue the fact of anything about rights. Because us as men, we give women their rights. If we wanted to say tomorrow, women don't have fucking rights, we're gonna do that. We can do that. We have that. Like it's
Isn't it? I mean, hey,
we allow it.
men voted to give women the vote.
Exactly. We allow them to vote. We
You
allow.
know? That's just a fact.
Look, just up until a couple years ago, I forget which country it is. Women just started to be allowed to drive.
Saudi Arabia.
Was that Saudi Arabia? Like
Yeah.
literally, like I don't even know why it's even an argument because like we've given you all these things, and easily as tomorrow, if it shit goes through legislation, the House, whatever, if we like, hey, women don't
Men have given the world to
literally,
women.
we built this shit for
We
women.
build
With-
why do you think we do any of this?
Without-
look. 99% of plumbers are men. I bet it's over 90 for all construction workers, all
Poli-
bridge builders,
police officers,
all electricians,
trash men.
all policemen.
Sewage
Maybe not
clean-
police. Trash men, yes. I mean, mailmen,
Dude,
maybe
it's
not.
like
these
it's like
days.
90% of police
But I'm
officers
just
are
saying,
men.
the majority of functions that have built the entire society and like systems with which we live in
It's men.
was built by men.
And I hate to say,
So it's like, come on, bro.
think about this, right? If you take even women know this shit right here, right? This was something I saw on I seen it on like an Instagram reel or something. A woman goes to take her car to a garage shop, right? For some maintenance she needed done on her car. Excuse me. And it was all women doing the maintenance, right? She turned her car around and the person that's recording her like, why didn't you go there? She's like, it's all women. Honestly, I don't expect a good job to be done or for things to get fixed correctly. And she goes and drives to a fucking garage with all men. Bro, like there's
Look,
there's no equality there. I hate to say it. And if there is, right? Just think about how much, and I've seen this scenario so many times, right? Women will be out at the bar, right? And us as men, we try to pursue it. Sometimes we go too far. The woman doesn't like it, right? A woman will conjure up a man to get another man off of her. Like, if there's such equality, right? You want to be so equal, right? Why conjure up an imaginary man to fend off this other man? There's no equality there. Like, I hate to say it. Listen,
bro, there's no equality.
I love
There's no equality
is
in the world
there's
at all. There's no equality ever.
you know what I think, and I gotta be aggressive.
There's never been any equality ever in the world.
I gotta be aggressive with this one, right? I gotta be aggressive with this one, right? Women technically are only useful for one thing, outside of childbearing. Outside of childbearing, women are only good for one
I
thing.
cannot wait to hear this.
Listen, women are only good outside of childbearing, and that is to emotionally support men. That's it. We've got the physical, we've got the mental down. We're good on that. We're good in every
Dude,
fucking.
I say emotion, but also spirit, bro.
Oh,
You know, but I feel like yeah.
listen, women, right? So, you know who Albert Einstein is?
Nah, bro, who's that?
You know who Nikola Tesla is?
Of course, yeah.
Jeff Bezos.
Sure.
Just throw me out a couple great names of people in history.
You know, Elon, Isaac Newton.
Okay, now give me the female version of them. I'll wait.
You know,
I'll wait. I got.
all right, we got like Amelia Earhart
She flew planes.
and got lost. Who else? We got like,
Where's the female Albert Einstein?
I mean,
And with that being said, we can.
who's the lady who started feminism?
Doesn't matter. Listen, and you know what? We can slide. We can slide into. Names. There is no fucking female gladio or what is his name?
Like in Socrates or something?
No, fuck. The only great woman I know in history is the fucking Mona Lisa picture, painted by a man. I hate this name. But dude, when you think about great people in history, all men get named.
Yeah.
Like it. I'm not saying women haven't done nothing significant, but
Women would say this because it's the patriarchy.
women have the same opportunities as men, right?
Some women.
Some women, right? You got some women that are just completely beat out of shape. They just can't do certain
Right.
things. But for women that complain
That's
about,
for people though.
there's women that complain about, financial equality in the workplace. More than likely, I've never seen, at least while I've been alive, right? In every job I've worked at, right? The positions I've had some very masculine positions. And I've also had females work in the same position as me. And these bitches have gotten paid the same exact thing. I've never seen a pay gap problem in any workplace I've been in.
Honestly,
But
I can't say I've seen one either.
I hear it's a thing though.
Just me, you know.
That's what I'm saying. In my history and work
In my
experience,
experience of work, yeah, no.
I've never seen it. I've never seen
I
it.
always saw what the wage is, but that's, I guess this, as you go to salary, there's biases people discuss, but I think, let's be real. Let's just be real.
Well,
It's, if a woman could do the work the same, she would get paid equally.
exactly. And you got to think about, at least we're in Maryland. So let's talk about Maryland law. One of the big things.
I know women who get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you got to think
It's
about
like-
workplace discrimination. So for me and a woman to have the same position, and she gets paid less than me because she's a woman, that's discrimination.
I mean, that's illegal.
That's illegal as fuck. So like I said, I hear that, at least in Maryland, right? Workplace
Yeah,
discrimination.
doesn't every like workplace job, most jobs come along with like a description of the duties required for that
Yes.
job.
Yes. Yep. You fill out your application.
So if you're getting paid more, usually it might have different duties, you know. And if you don't,
there's only one instance where somebody gets paid more than somebody else for a job of the same role or being in the same role, and that's experience.
Right.
That is solely it. With so many years of experience, and of course, and that's just with anything. I think that people with more experience should get paid anyway. If I'm a mechanic and he's a mechanic, and he's been in the shop for 15 years, and I've only been there 2, more than likely you're gonna want him to work on your car.
yeah.
But yeah, experience is the only thing that I can say that a person would get paid more than somebody in the same role. And off this topic, we can kind of go into the other one.
Yeah.
With the woman.
Modesty and dress codes.
I don't think women should wear leggings at work. It shouldn't be a thing. It's a fucking distraction. If I went to work, let's just say, what's a woman's field? Because warehousing is predominantly men. What's a woman's field?
Nursing is a primary one. That
Nursing, right? Nursing, right? I mean, everybody wears scrubs, but if I came as a nurse and started my shift, every fucking shift, and I'm
a lot of those motherfuckers that have been stuck in that hospital bed would get a boner up in there.
Well, think about this. Bro. What if I would have came? What if I started my shift in sweatpants every shift?
Yeah.
And I just letting little man hang.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think that's why we need some uniforms.
I think it should be.
We need to bring back uniforms. I'm tired of this culture of like, look, okay, like everything's just casual, man. Like, all right, bro.
Look what China does. I love what they do.
Like, you're not sitting on your couch at home watching the fucking fucking end of the day news, the evening news, or eating a bowl of Cheerios, watching cartoons on a Saturday morning. So like, why are you like? I get it. It's like, oh, you don't need a uniform. Like, I just am a fan of professionals. You know, like, am I a professional podcast live stream? Maybe not. I should be looking better than I look, but I think I do. I look pretty fly. Regardless.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that is the solution as far as dress codes and shit. Because at the end of the day, it's like,
do you think
out in the world?
Do you think it's okay that women? Is it acceptable in your world that women? It's okay for women to wear leggings in the workplace.
I mean, bro, depends what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
any job, warehousing. What else?
I don't think women should be able to wear leggings ever.
Would you say it's a distraction?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd say a lot of times women are distractions.
Very. Alone.
Just
alone.
Just walking around. Just a walking distraction.
At my last place of employment, right? I remember there was this one girl. She was in management. She came in and she would do this like every Friday. Every Friday was like her casual day, right? She would come in. Her main thing was like freaking skin tight fucking leggings. It's either G-strings or fucking no panties at all. Uggs and a shirt that doesn't cover her ass. Alone, she was already a good looking woman. And then on top of how she dressed every Friday, like it was one of those things where like you expected to see that ass. Like and it was a complete distraction. It was a complete distraction.
Yeah, I mean, I can get where it would make sense if you're like working as like a server or like a bartender, you want to get those tips up. You know what I mean?
I mean, hey, that's probably it. That's probably it.
At the end of the day,
I'll let the server slide. Servers, strippers, go ahead, do your thing. But yeah, man,
but I mean, presentation, I think that's everything.
I think I like what you said, and I remember like in elementary school, back because I went to elementary school in Baltimore, we all had uniforms.
Yeah.
We 5 days out the week we wore 11/11, Make a Wish. All right. Yeah, uniforms. I think that should be a must in all professions and schooling. And it takes a lot of bullshit
I
out
mean, bro,
of
it makes it more professional.
that.
It
And
makes everything more professional.
we'll think about this too, right?
And uniform and
Bullying. Think about bullying, right?
yeah,
Kids in school, right? Some people make fun
bro,
of other
you
kids.
cannot wear a tail to school and expect anything less. You know what I mean? I feel like that's completely like bullying is not always wrong.
Please explain. Please explain.
look, a lot of times, look, okay, a lot of times there are some things in this world like that. There's a reason why it becomes stigmatized or treated some type of way, and kids are only kids. They're gonna they're gonna express how they're gonna express, and at the end of the day, it's like most adults in the workplace would not be doing out of pocket shit like some of these people are doing in school. And so at the end of the day, I gotta say, I don't think that all bullying is equal. It's like, look, I, I don't think there's obviously circumstances and cases, and it's a case by case basis, but it's like, there's how, how extreme it is or this and that. You can see how far things can go, but with what's considered bullying, I mean, bro, it's somebody's gotta say the truth. Somebody's gotta say some shit. Like, and I get it. It's not always nice. It's not always, amazing. It's not always perfect. I've been bullied. I've been, made fun of for this, made fun of for that. And looking back, I understand. I completely understand. The way I was acting was also not conducive to living as a human being in our world. It's not an effective way of living. So of course people are gonna mock that and look at that and say, "Oh, like that's not good." And I'm glad that they did.
I think that if we all had uniforms, elementary, middle, high school, I think that would alleviate a lot of bullying, right? Because I remember back whenever I did have to wear uniforms, there was a lot less antagonizing one another and all this stuff because like kids get picked on for what their shoes, whether they got the newest Jordans or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got a Walmart shirt on and not no Nike or Jordan on. If everybody had the same shit on, it's kind of hard. You got to pick out at that point. You got to assassinate somebody's character.
Yeah.
You can't really assassinate them materialistically now. So I think that the dress code thing. I think uniforming. Most places, professional places, I think that it would alleviate a
Every
lot.
good thing throughout history has at least had some sort of a uniform. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Every good, like the beautiful, like the greatest armies of the world, like they all had a uniform for the most part, or at least a style. And it's like, bro, if you don't have something binding everything together, then you don't have anything at all. It's just chaos.
Right. What are we on to next?
All right. So we'll talk about let's talk about the flat Earth for a bit. Let's talk about the flat Earth theory because I know that's something that you're interested in.
Love the flat Earth.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'm still, I guess, agnostic.
I think that gravity still has yet to be proven.
That's what I was gonna ask about. I was gonna ask, like, what like, you just think it falls?
So I
Like, I mean,
believe
gravity makes a lot of sense to me.
it may, but we pretty much came up with that bullshit we pulled that out of our ass.
Well, of course, the theory.
It's a scientific theory, right? It hasn't been proven a fact yet by any scientist, right? But we say that since we don't know, we say, hey, gravity is a thing and that this is a result of it, but yet we can't prove it to be fact. Mass, density, those are things we can prove to be a fact. This phone, mass and density, right? It drops because it is of mass and density. It's gonna fall. I'm not saying that we're on a complete.
Yeah, but okay. mass and density, don't you see how those, like, just as much as gravity is like a theoretical concept, that like assigning these numbers to something like a phone, so we call it this many grams or whatever, like you see how that is also just a label
But
or
those are
something
facts.
that's abstract.
Those are facts, though.
Yeah, but there's still a certain level of abstraction, you know, like a certain level of, it's like, okay, this weighs a pound, like less than a pound. This weighs like 20 grams.
And it falls because it's being pulled towards the
why
center of
is-
gravity, or the center of gravity.
Well, yeah, that's the theory. But what I'm
That's
saying
the theory.
is, but the grams
Mhm.
is a theory in a sense too, because it's like, why is it this many units of this?
Well, think about
Like,
it.
why is it not just arbitrary?
I got a question for you.
Okay.
So gravity holds everything on Earth towards the center of its mass, right?
Yeah.
So, how much does a cargo ship weigh? You know, the ones that brings all those containers back and
For
forth.
like 100, a
Fucking
million pounds.
tons, right? And it's gravity that keeps that ship pulled towards Earth, right? So, how is it that gravity, right, is able to, and let's use Australia, because Australia is technically on the bottom of the Earth. A ship in Australia, right, is kept on the Earth due to gravity. How does a butterfly fly?
Shit, bro.
How does a
You
butterfly
got me.
fly?
You got me.
I'm just
bro.
saying.
You look.
You think about a ship, right? It fucking weighs hundreds of tons or however much it weighs. And if the gravity's pushing that towards Earth to keep it on Earth, how the fuck can a butterfly fly freely, which weighs a couple ounces, if that? Even an ounce. Fucking a gram.
Because the surface area, the push of the, you know what I mean? It's like a balance. It's a counterbalance.
A counterbalance, 100 tons down to like a gram.
Well, that's how a ship flows too. It has air inside that correlates to the amount of air that's underneath the water is what makes buoyancy. You know
Oh
what I'm
my god, not buoyancy.
saying?
Not buoyancy.
Why does the ship float?
Ah, my god. So listen. So for the most part, I've done a lot of studies on flat Earth. I feel like I don't know every single thing, right? I haven't tweaked all
Of
the
course, yeah.
details. I mean, I don't even know everything
Now,
about.
if you know about the flat Earth, but I have a question for you that might stump you though.
You can't fall off the edge.
Okay, you can't fall off the edge. I know because the ice.
Ice wall,
I
right?
understand. But what I'm saying is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's Antarctica, right? But what about sunsets?
Sunsets? Let's go.
Because you see the sun go down,
Do you?
but if it's a flat Earth, then how? If the sun's going around like this,
Do you? Do you see it go down?
I do.
I think I see it go down too. But rotation. It can be scientifically proven. You could probably go outside if you have somebody hold a ball and go to a certain distance, right? So mountains, so on and so forth. As the sun rotates, it'll appear as it's going down, but it's being covered by mountains, so on and so forth, land mass,
you.
and
The
all that stuff.
oceans.
Seasons, right? Let's dive even further. Let's talk about seasons, right?
But isn't the ocean flat, so you would be able to see it, like if it's going around on the top?
See, here's the thing too, right? If the Earth is round, do you know what sea level is?
Yeah.
Sea level, right? If people try to say it's distance, right? If I stand on a beach and I get me that what's that Polaroid camera that fucking can see for like 10 miles out. So I forget how many feet per mile that if the Earth is curved, you lose a foot every mile or so often, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now with that Polaroid camera or whatever, it fucking zooms out like 10 miles. After so many miles, a ship should disappear. But for as far as a lens camera can see or whatever, I can always see that ship. No matter what, it will not disappear over the curvature, allegedly. Seasons, right? People say, well, how's there seasons on a flat Earth, right?
Okay.
You know, round Earth, the axis, it tilts, blah, 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 the solstice, so on and so forth, right? Now, the sun and the moon rotate around the top of the Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
My so-called flat Earth, it rotates. On one side, you got day, other side, you got night. Now, the sun and moon, they rotate probably this close, right? So this part of the whatever the sun's closer to, that area gets hot. Now, how seasons change is that the sun goes out wider whenever it rotates. So everything in the middle will be colder now. It's all due to rotation. I can give you an actual video diagram of the explanation of it, but the rotation due to the center and the outer part of what I believe Earth is how the seasons change. And yes, I believe that there's an ice wall. If you look at the Gleason's map, what's it like, the 1776 or whatever Gleason's map? Every map before, and every map that human beings have created in the last, well, before the last 200 years, after Jesus, of course, all those maps are flat Earth maps with an ice wall surrounding it.
Bro, I think that you convinced me.
No, there's more stuff to it, though. There's way more stuff to it.
I don't need to hear that, bro.
There's way more stuff.
Because at the end of the day, it's like,
So the question that everybody else wants to ask too, right? And that I've been asked is, well, why would they lie to us about it being round or flat or whatever?
yeah, that's a good question.
So there was this guy, he's like a digital, whatever, he does a lot of digital shit, putting images and shit together and stuff like that. What is one of the biggest things that's a problem with the world? And when it comes to leaders, what do leaders want?
Power.
Land.
Land.
Land, that's a thing. Putin fucking, after so many years, got mad. He wanted fucking,
The Ukraine.
he wanted that shit back. On around Earth, right? We can make the landmass appear to be whatever it is. And we only know that the land is what it is because that's what our government told us. I've never hopped in a spaceship, went up and looked down. I would love to.
Me either. I mean,
But-
I can't say, man.
Yeah, we really can't say. The world is round, buoyancy, gravity, and all this other stuff we think we know this stuff because that's
I mean,
what
it makes sense.
It
You know
makes
what I
sense.
mean? The systems, they make sense.
Hmm. Now, what doesn't make sense about a flat Earth?
Like I said, dude, the sunset, bro. I just don't get that. I just don't get how rotating away, it's gonna look like it's going down. You get what I'm saying? Like you said, like, yeah, well, it'll look like it goes down, but I'm like, why? Why wouldn't it just look like it's getting far away and then it's like disappears in the distance?
I'll show you a video to make it make sense because I can't make it make sense explaining it.
All right.
But I can show you a
Well,
video.
we'll have to do that after the podcast.
Yeah,
Let's rotate topics. Let's rotate.
Okay.
Because honestly, shit, bro. You mean, look, you got me.
Well, there's so much more. There's so much more, right?
I know. But look, if you so you know the flat Earth, you believe the flat Earth,
Mhm.
but you don't. Do you accept Christ as king? You know, is Christ the most base Chad of all the religious figures? Would he not destroy the Buddha? I mean, look, he comes through the good. Like Buddha's just sitting there under a tree, like, oh yeah, things are good and bad.
What if I told you that there is another Jesus in the Bible and everybody overlooks him? His name
Hold on.
is Melchizedek.
What? I have no idea.
You ever heard of that?
No.
I have no
Have you ever read
idea
the
what
Bible?
you're talking about.
Yeah. Not all of it.
Oh, okay. Melchizedek, right?
Okay, explain this. Because I don't know about it. So
Okay.
somebody's got to,
So
somebody's got to let the people know.
Melchizedek. Okay, I'll do a quick thing. Yeah.
Quick debrief.
Who is Melchizedek in the Bible?
According to Wikipedia, in the Bible, Melchizedek, also transliterated Melchisedek or Melchizedek, was the king of Salem and priest of El Elyon.
Okay, that's what he was. Can Melchizedek in the Bible die?
According to Bible and Archaeology, the University of Iowa, because the Bible records Elijah as being taken to the heavens while still alive, he became a candidate for one who would one day return to proclaim the coming of the Messiah. A second biblical figure that is said to never have died is Melchizedek, the ethereal priest king of Salem.
Damn, bro.
People overlook him in the
Damn,
Bible
bro.
all the time. It says in the Bible that he has no beginning of days, he has no end of days, and he is made like the Son of God. People always overlook him. He's one of the most mysterious people I want to learn about. And I dive into like ancient Egyptian religion, ancient Sumerian and Mesopotamian religion. I try to dive down the rabbit hole as far as I can to find out about this guy, and he comes into history for a moment and fucking disappears. And
Really?
yeah, and there's not much information, but the information that there is, in the Bible it says that he is made like the Son of God.
Wait, so if he's supposed to live forever, he could be here today then?
Exactly. But nobody knows.
But he got taken up to heaven
No, nobody
in
knows.
the story, right?
That was Elijah.
Elijah.
So Melchizedek comes into history. Abraham pays tithes to him. The lesser pays tithes to the higher. Abraham was up there in fucking leadership. Tithes are supposed to be paid to God. If Abraham paid tithes to Melchizedek, who the fuck is this guy that's above him that he would pay tithes to him?
Yeah.
That shit's crazy.
Hmm.
But yeah, so he comes into history for a short moment. He came back from a war. It gives a quick little description of him, and then he's gone.
Why does nobody know about him?
People overlook a lot of
It's the
shit.
hidden God.
People overlook a lot of
It's
shit.
the hidden living God, and Christ is the overt living God, bro.
Well, you know, I also believe in extraterrestrials too.
Really?
Yes, because in the Bible, right? People try to say that this verse, right? That Jacob mentally struggled with God or fought with God. But in the Bible, you've read the beginning,
Yeah.
Genesis.
Yeah, yeah.
So in Genesis, it talks about how Jacob wrestled with God and he prevailed.
Mm.
People try to say, certain Christians and theologians will say that he struggled with God mentally, internally, so on and so forth. But if you just read on, it says that he physically fought with a man. That man knocked his hip out of place. And then that man blessed him, gave him whatever land, and Jacob named that land Peniel because it was where his hip was knocked out of place.
Like a physical man.
A physical man. And the verse says, Jacob fought with God and prevailed. And named the land after his hip being thrown out of place. All you got to do is just read it. I know interpretation is different to everybody, but if you just physically look at it and just physically accept it for exactly what it says and not add nothing to it, you'll be
Okay.
like, damn.
Now, look, to take this to the next fucking level, if you want to know the actual secret, I'll give you a little hint, a guide stone along the pathway real quick. But CIA, another declassified project, is Project Stargate and Bluebeam, right? Project Bluebeam, Project Stargate, bruh. They have a huge book on religion and the layout of our universe. And bruh, there's these other dimensions, right? And we're the third dimension. It's like a fucking video game. If you're playing a video game on your computer, it feels like you're in a whole world, but it's just 2D on the screen. That's what we are to the higher dimensional planes. And bro, I'm done with you.
Have you ever...
You can transfer through the planes, you can meditate and go to this. There's a bunch of black magic and a bunch of symbolism. And I've gone into the Hermetic truths and all this Masonic dark magic, which is literally satanic magic that it will fuck you over in the end. But I'll tell you that, bro, you can come into contact with these beings. Some people call them DMT elves, people call them different things, people call them the shroom spirits, this and that. Bro, there's other higher dimensions, but God's the ruler of all the dimensions, bro, so it's all good.
What if we're in a matrix?
Dude, we are in a matrix.
And I say it like this, right? Have you ever played Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yeah.
So you know that the game creates itself as you go.
Yeah.
And us, right? Our vision only is good right in front of us. Like right now, we can't see what's going on in Kermit, right? But as we go down, everything comes into vision. The mountains come in, the trees come in. You go down National Highway, you can't see shit past what your vision can see.
How do you know?
How do you
Everyone
know?
else is not just the NPC.
Exactly.
And you're the only living character.
Yep.
That's actually what I think is the truth. I think that all of you are NPCs. You're an NPC. No.
Well, think about this. Call it in Grand Theft Auto, you're the main character, of course, CJ, whoever it may be, right? But somehow everybody else, all the little people walking around, the other people driving cars, it's already generated. So if if we're able to do that on our humanly level and all the technology advancements that we have so far, if we're able to do that now, what if something 5 billion years older than us who has been around, what do you think they're able to do?
Dude, I'm just hyped because now I know that I don't have to give a fuck about any of these NPCs. Go keep being an NPC. You don't have to give a fuck, bro. You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's like
That's so fucking dark. That's such a dark way to look at it.
I mean,
you can do whatever you want.
We're
It doesn't matter. But the problem is though that God created all of it. So whatever you do to the NPCs, that's what you're doing to God. So you got to be careful still.
oh,
You can't be playing games. You can't just treat even if other people are NPCs, you can't just treat them like shit. Because you know what I'm saying? It's like
well, guess what? Let's go.
whoever created this multiverse is gonna see how you're acting.
Let's go even darker.
Okay.
I'll shoot and kill all the NPCs.
What?
Because
What do you mean?
because if this is a simulation, if this is a matrix, I'm gonna spawn again. I'm gonna spawn again. Fucking, I'm coming back. I mean, come on, reincarnation now. It's very fucking
Bro,
game-ish. Like, I mean,
bro, reincarnation is gay, bro.
I know.
Reincarnation is gay.
I know. I hope I don't come back as like a gay frog or something. Like that would suck.
That's what, bro. That's what'll happen if you believe in reincarnation. You
Oh,
come back as
fuck.
a gay frog. Actually,
So,
that's actually the way it's set up. Is that whatever you believe, if you believe in reincarnation, that's what you'll come back as. But if you believe in Jesus Christ, then you will go and be with him in the fourth dimension
okay,
and smoke like fucking space hookah with like him and
let's stir the religious people up real quick.
okay, what?
All right, so people believe in Jesus. So you believe in Jesus, you're gonna be saved, go to heaven, right?
Yeah,
So when did Jesus come along?
0. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
So he was
The
what?
motherfucker who set all our calendars, who set the entire world's calendars, except for like China. I mean, they got their own thing.
Here's a little bit of information because I feel like you don't know this. What does AD stand for?
After the death. No, it doesn't stand for that.
I was about to say
It stands for like Adeni da 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 da.
Anno Dominion.
Yeah, yeah. After the coming.
So you know what year Jesus died?
Yeah, like 33.
AD.
Yeah.
He died in 33 AD. But okay, so people believe in Jesus, repent for their sins, go to heaven, blah blah blah, right? So if that was the thing when Jesus came along about 2020 some years ago, right?
Wait. If Jesus was born on December 25th,
He
and
wasn't.
that's the year 0,
He wasn't born in December.
then
He was born on April 1st.
is that when the year starts?
That is technically when the year starts.
That's when my New Year started. I know that's
So-
for sure.
Hold on, let's do a quick Google search.
I'm just saying, it's like, if he was born on December 25th, then how?
According to the Washington Post, by the 4th century, however, we find
Christmas.
references to two dates that were widely recognized, and now also celebrated, as Jesus' birthday, December 25th in the Western Roman Empire and January 6th in the East, especially in Egypt and Asia Minor.
So you got
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you cut the middle, it has to be January 1st, because if he was born and that's the year 0, then it has to be January 1st, because when he was born is when it started. Right? It can't be before or after the New Year. That doesn't make any sense.
But this is what I don't get either.
So before Christ ends, so before Christ is around when Christ is born, that doesn't make any sense. Or after Christ came has already started before Christ came, that doesn't make any sense either. I'm just saying.
So
Christ never came.
so I've read the Bible, right?
Christ maybe he died a virgin. Okay, so he did never come.
Or him and Mary after the alleged
Mary Magdalene.
yeah, they
The secret Jesus bloodline, dude. Don't get me hyped
Secret
up,
Jesus
bro.
bloodline.
I know I have Jesus blood, bro.
So-
quit playing with me.
so here-
quit playing with
Listen,
me.
hold on.
You're gonna get me
Read
hyped.
this real quick.
According to 1925, shake a palm tree. Okay. Somewhere between June and October. Yeah. Okay.
So if you read the Bible, it says that he was born in a warm month. December 25th ain't no warm month.
Unless you're in South America.
That's true. I mean, he was over there in the
If
Middle
you
East.
believe in a globe Earth.
If you believe in a globe Earth.
Wait, that's another thing about the globe Earth. If we're talking about flat Earth versus globe Earth,
Okay.
right?
Okay, let me hear.
Why are there different seasons in South America than in North America?
I just said that.
Okay.
So the rotation
Because the
rotation of the sun. So
Look, okay, hold on.
closer
On
to
that
the-
note, we gotta go to break. I have to piss. We gotta go to break.
all right.
So we're gonna go to break for we're gonna be back in 5-10 minutes. If anyone's even watching, it doesn't even matter. Fuck you all.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. right, we're unmuted. We're back from break.
Let's get it.
It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time to begin the second segment. Miguel,
Religion.
religion. Look,
Religion.
if you follow your heart, you will look. Your heart is full of sin. It's full of lust. It's full of all these desires. It's so disgusting.
Who
You're
created?
just a pure. You're an animal. You're so. Your desires, bro. Your heart, bro. Look, you can't follow purely your heart. You can't trust in yourself.
Who created us?
Who created us?
Yeah. Who created human beings?
God created human
God
beings.
created human beings. So, who put this lust and desire in me?
God.
God, right?
God
So,
allowed.
so people, so I don't follow religion, of course.
Okay.
I study it, but I don't follow religion. I don't have a particular religion. I'm spiritual. I follow my heart.
Yeah, I don't follow a particular religion either. You know.
See, I know that my heart will always put me in a good place, right?
I feel like, look, you talked earlier about how you studied all these like multiple different religions, 33 different religions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I've studied other religions too, you know, and what I've noticed is that all the best religions out there, you know, even Islam, you know, they say, oh, Jesus was a prophet. Buddhism says like, yeah, Jesus was some sort. A lot of you know, high up Buddhists and stuff are saying, like, yeah, Jesus was some sort of Buddha, like he had like you know, some sort of elevated consciousness to be able to do the things he was doing. I just feel like all the other religions point
Back
to
to Christ.
Christ, back to not Christianity,
All right, I got
but
one.
the figure of Christ, the figure which literally founds our entire fucking calendar, which frames the world within which we live. Christ frames that, and yet you have the gall to reject Christ. You know, you can't reject Christ.
Oh, he was definitely a person. He was here. People witnessed him. So he's the good of the Bible, right? Who's the evil?
Lucifer.
Lucifer, right?
Lucy.
Well, tell me one thing, right? What is one evil thing that Lucifer did in all of history? Just give me one.
You know, he tempted Eve
He tempted her.
with sin.
Tempted her. Is that evil?
No. Look. Lucifer is allowed to exist by God
Right.
because to give us free will. You know what I mean? So that we can.
To me, I actually like Lucifer. Lucifer is one of my favorite
Bro.
characters in
Bro,
all
you
of.
can't. Come on, bro.
Listen, I'll tell you why. Right? No
I
matter.
get it. The morning
Huh?
star. You know, the rebel. I get.
Hold up though.
I mean,
Lucifer did not do one bad thing in all of the Bible that he wasn't supposed to do. Now, I'll say this, right? I can't find one evil thing that he's done, right?
yeah, because everything he did, God allowed him to do.
God allowed it. When you talk about the suffering of Job, right? Who put that on Job? God did.
Yeah.
When the angels
It's
met up
true.
and
I mean,
everybody
it's
met
true.
up, God threw Job out there. It was like, yo, my man is the shit. He doesn't sin. He's a great man. Look at him. And then what did the devil say? He ain't going
I could turn him. I could turn him.
Nah, the devil's like, man, he wouldn't be like that because you give him everything. And then God threw out there what? You can do anything you want to him, but you can't kill him. God allowed everything to happen to Job through his son.
But Job kept his faith.
True. Now you want to talk? You said that the devil tempted Eve with sin, right?
The point of Lucifer's job is to make people not believe in God. So that's why there's the suffering. That's why there's the chaos.
What story have you ever read in the Bible where Lucifer said God isn't real?
Never.
You've never read it. You never read it. That is a theorized thing that God or that the devil wants people to not believe in God, right?
Well, that's no. Yeah.
So what happens, long story short, with Lucifer, he wants everybody to know the truth. Temptation, sin, Eve was tempted with sin of the apple, lust or whatever it may be. And what was the bad thing in knowing, right?
Bro, because you're becoming like God. And look, the problem with that is because, look, you see what these Masonic organizations do. Like, I've studied the Hermetic truths, I've studied all of these Masonic texts.
I love them.
And now, look, I find a lot of interest. I've been interested. I've gone down some of those paths. But I'm saying through those methodologies, you are trying to become like God. And no,
Hold
you're
up, hold
trying
up.
to exert your will on the universe. So you're trying to take it into your own hands
Here's a question
and
though.
take the powers of God from the universe and ascribe it to your will.
Here's
You know
a,
what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's satanic.
here's a question though, right? So Eve was tempted with the fruit that would do what? Let her understand the difference between good and bad? Were we supposed to just be incompetent human beings? Because the only thing that happened whenever we ate the fruit is that now we had knowledge of what was good and what was bad. And think about this, right? How could have Eve been tempted if she knew it was good or bad or not?
That's what brought evil into the world.
But she didn't know if it was good or bad. She didn't know what good or bad was until she ate the fruit. So is she faulted for that? How can you be? Can you punish a child, right, for touching the stove? Does a child know that the stove is hot? A little toddler, do they know it's hot?
No, look, you can't blame them, but you can say, stop.
You can.
Don't do this.
Mm,
This is, look, see what happens when you touch the stove. You burn yourself.
but a child has to touch the stove first to understand, like, oh, that hurts.
Not always.
I mean,
I burned my hand on a bonfire out.
but we're
like,
talking about a toddler, somebody who
Yeah.
isn't competent enough. And I want to say that, like Adam and Eve, they weren't competent enough, allegedly, to
Of
understand
course.
good and evil until they ate the fruit, right?
But before that, it was just the chaos of nature in a sense. You know, is it evil that a lion, like, think about the amount of suffering that a gazelle feels when a lion sinks its teeth
Mm.
and steals its life from it. Is that equivalent to the amount that a lion gets for a meal? Oh, I just gotta eat.
Why
But
didn't
is that equivalent to the amount of suffering and death? No. But is that evil? Also, no, because it's not something that is understood. And so the understanding is what brings good and evil. I mean, that's why I feel like, that's the original sin. Our original sin is the consciousness and level of knowledge that we have to make those determinations.
I got two things for you.
Okay.
Original sin did not exist or start with Adam and Eve. But on that real quick, Adam and Eve got kicked out of the garden. Why didn't Lucifer?
Lucifer is an angel of God.
He banished them out of heaven. Why didn't he kick them out the garden?
The garden is on earth.
True. But it was apparently God's domain.
It was God's domain on earth.
Here's another thing. Original sin, right? So you said it started with Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
So the Lucifer is on earth as a result of what?
Being banished out of heaven.
So who created the first sin? Lucifer or Eve?
I guess Lucifer,
Lucifer created the first sin.
which is wanting to be like God.
It says in the Bible that
Because he
wanted to exalt his throne above all other thrones. But
which is to be like God.
God,
To be like the universe.
but would you say God's all-knowing, omnipotent, so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
If God wanted to take the powers away from Lucifer, couldn't he just snap his fingers or just think it and it'd be done?
Yes. Yes.
If he wanted us to not sin, could he just have not imputed it in us whenever we were created?
Yes, of course.
And let's talk about free will. You say, oh, he wanted us to have free will. Okay, cool. All right, well, does God know my whole story? Is my story already written? As so the Bible says.
He knows.
So what's the point of me existing if I already know if he already knows what's gonna happen? It's like this right here. Would you put $10,000 on a bet that you know you're already gonna lose?
At the end of the day.
Ah,
At the end of the day, here's what I'll say. Because at the end of the day, right, God knows, but you don't know. You don't know.
here's the thing. Is everything God has made perfect?
Yes.
So are we the only imperfect things?
No.
We're perfect too, right? If God created us, we're
Yes.
perfect too.
Yes.
If you had a child and that child did something wrong, would you want to murder it?
No.
Why not?
I love it.
So God created us, right? And we started doing all this craziness, having sex with fucking animals and all this other shit, right?
Yeah.
And what did God do? Flooded the whole fucking earth. Took out fucking 99% of all human beings on fucking earth, right? If he created us, right? We're his creation. Why would he destroy us? Just for partaking in this stuff. He already knows us. He created us. He knows us. Why would he wipe us out off something he created? And then again, okay, these feelings and emotions I have came from God. Let me tell you why. Because before he floods the earth, he makes this statement. I have regretted I have made mankind. He said regret. You know what emotions you feel to come up with regret?
Dude, you can't bring too much Old Testament. We all, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh
the
man.
Old Testament. Like,
You want to go New Testament?
I'm just saying, like, talk more about that because I'm
Wait,
just saying
what were you gonna say though? What feelings bring up regret?
Yeah.
doing the wrong
Desire
thing.
or
But God can't do the wrong thing, essentially. Or God shouldn't be able to do the wrong thing. So he shouldn't regret doing what he did, is what you're going.
It's so many things with regret.
But I'm saying,
Faulty
dude,
decision
but
making,
I'm
so
saying
on and
that-
so forth.
Hmm.
If you say that God is perfect, and then he says the Bible word something like, "Oh,
Right.
God regretted,"
yeah.
you saying that, okay, I made a faulty decision, but God isn't allegedly what the way we know him is that he doesn't make faulty decisions. He doesn't have sadness. He doesn't have that stuff that makes him incomplete.
Yeah. He doesn't want.
Yeah,
He just should accept.
yeah, but exactly what it was. But he felt things, he regretted things, and anger was a result of it. He murdered everybody almost, except for what, 6 people? Everybody, all that stuff, right? So this lust, lust, desire, gluttony, all this other stuff, it comes from my creator, right? So with who I am, how can I be faulted and condemned to an eternal fire when I am my father? That just seems ludicrous.
I understand, but that's if it depends if what you do when you do it, do you enjoy it? Do you like it?
Do you know what
do
sin
you
is?
continue in that path?
Do you know what
Do
sin
you
is?
continue in that tread? Do you follow that?
That's a good thing.
Because it also says that when you come to the Lord, in Revelation, in the New Testament, it says you'll be measured by the same stick that you measure everyone else by.
That's true, and that's true. That's a result of life here on earth before the
It's like-
spiritual. But think about this, right? So, by the way, real quick, if anybody has ever read the Gospel of Thomas, if you haven't, I suggest you go read the Book of Thomas, Jesus' brother.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
The Book of Thomas is crazy. But hold on. So, sin. Do you know what sin is? Do you know what sin is?
I know what it is to me.
Sin?
Sin. Yeah, you just covered a couple things. You said
I know sin is
killing somebody, all that other stuff.
yeah,
Here's-
it's going against the will of God.
Here's a scenario. If a retarded person, right, kills somebody, did that retarded person sin?
Like
I'm talking about the this right here, the hand, the retarded people, right? I hate to put it like that.
no,
I hate to put it like that, but
okay. So if somebody like that sins,
no, hold up. I'm asking, if that slow person kills somebody, is it a sin? Did they sin?
yes.
How?
I mean, are you talking about an accident?
I'll tell you exactly what sin is. I'll tell you exactly. And
Okay.
religion,
Okay.
you talk to any preacher,
All right.
whatnot.
I'm
So sin is this
let's
right
fucking
here.
roll.
Sin is this right here, right? It's the realization of a wrongdoing and continue to do it.
Ah.
If yes, you have to understand
I
sin to
agree.
do it.
I
Right? No,
agree.
that's how it is in the Bible. Like it speaks about topics such or things such as if I know I take this gun and I shoot this person, like that's murder. Like I know I know exactly wrongfully what I'm doing. But
You know
somebody
what you're taking away.
exactly, somebody such as a retarded person, they're not competent enough to process, oh, I'm doing something
No,
wrong.
that makes sense.
That's why it says in the Bible, right? It says in the Bible that, and most religions too, at this, that a child is basically sin free to what, the age of 12 or something like that, because it becomes old enough to become competent. It becomes old enough and competent enough of its right and wrong decisions. But yes, so sin is the realization of, or the understanding of a wrongdoing and continue to do it.
I agree with that.
You can't sin if you don't know if it's bad or not. And that's the one thing that confuses me about the Adam and Eve story in the garden.
But it threw the world into chaos.
Allegedly.
No, but Eve knew. That's the whole point, is that Eve knew.
Here's the thing though, right?
Eve knew because God said, do not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Have you ever read the ancient Sumerian?
Said, do not eat of that tree or you will
Do you know about the
be
ancient
cast into the world of knowing about that, which is a world full of more sin.
So you can believe that story, right? Here's something
And
for
you
you.
see more brutality when you notice the good and evil of the world.
Here's something for you. Have you ever read ancient Sumerian or Mesopotamian history?
I've looked into it. I wouldn't consider myself like well read.
So if you ever read the Holy Tablets, right? Or the Epic of Gilgamesh, I think it might be in there. The Bible actually takes a lot from those cylinders.
Yeah.
So the Epic of Gilgamesh, I believe it's in there too. But the ancient Sumerians and Mesopotamians wrote the same exact story as Genesis, right? So, and I believe that the
And
Old
that's where
Testament comes from the Epic of Gilgamesh. So the ancient,
That's the beginning of the universe, by the way.
Yeah,
That's Big Bang.
it has everything in it.
Okay.
It has everything. In it.
Genesis.
Genesis, right? So listen. So
Don't come out.
so listen. Hold up, real quick. Hold up before I forget. So
Okay.
so the ancient Sumerians, right? They recorded this story, right? Lucifer was a real person. Adam was a real person. Eve was a real person, right? So allegedly, Lucifer taught Eve sexual immorality. Head 69, all that nasty shit we do after 12. So listen,
Dude, this, yo,
Listen,
yo,
listen.
That sounds like a fact.
listen. So Lucifer, hold up.
That's truth.
In the ancient Sumerian, it has this story. It says that Lucifer taught Eve sexual immorality, and Eve taught Adam. God caught Adam and Eve partaking in sexual activities that they weren't supposed to partake in. And then, so if you think about the story in the Bible,
Disgusting.
think about the story in the Bible. It says that Lucifer tempted Eve with the fruit, and Eve gave the fruit to her husband. And then they realized what they were doing, and God caught them. And he's like, "Hold up, who taught you this?" It said, or my fault. In the Bible, it says, "Who
They
told
covered
you?
themselves.
Who
They
told you
covered
you were
themselves.
naked?"
Yeah.
So they didn't know what anything, right? So in the ancient Sumerian, or the ancient Sumerian text, it talks about how Lucifer taught Eve some sexual shit, and she taught Adam, and God caught them because they were only supposed to be used for procreation and not for pleasure. And that's allegedly what happened. Now it's funny that that story is that in the ancient Sumerian history that predates biblical times, right? But you look later in time, somehow we got this Adam and Eve updated story in Genesis,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird. I find that very weird.
I do too, and honestly, though, it makes a lot of sense though. And you know, there's even like some sort of some Jewish religions, you know, that have like, you know, Lilith as a character as well in the Adam and Eve
Speaking of
story.
Lilith, I just told my girl this, right? So Lilith is Adam's first wife.
Exactly. Yeah.
So hold up.
No, that's actually. That's
Let me
crazy.
just Google it
That's
real
some
quick. Hold up.
crazy shit.
Hold up. Have you ever known that?
Yeah. There was like a whole.
Hold on real quick. Let me Google it for the people real quick.
Yeah,
Who is Adam's first wife?
I remember.
According to Wikipedia, Lilith, also spelled Lilith,
Have you not known that?
Lilies, is a female.
Lilith?
Put that up.
Huh? Let me
What's
do
it
it.
saying? Finish what it said.
Okay, I got you. Who is Adam's first wife?
According to Wikipedia, Lilith, also spelled Lilith, Lilitu, or Lilies, is a female figure in Mesopotamian and Jewish mythology, theorized to be the first wife of Adam and supposedly the primordial she
The
demon.
fucking Jews.
Why would it be? But listen to this. Hold up. Do you know what people I was just talking about? Ancient Sumerians and Mesopotamians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
No, yeah, that dude.
diving in.
Look,
So do you know who the first civilization on Earth was?
dude.
It was the Sumerians. They were the first civilization on Earth in ancient Mesopotamia. Digging up that guy Zacharias Stitchin, who translated all them crates
after the
Alex dug
comet
up.
came, after the comet came though,
Which
and
one?
wiped out
Which one?
Atlantis, the one that took out Atlantis.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? No, okay, we can't go there. We'll not go there yet.
hold on,
Go on what you were saying.
I think we messed his head up.
What?
You didn't know about Lilith?
No, no, that was a.
So a quick rundown. I'll give you a quick rundown due to what I've studied, right? So I've studied that Lilith was Adam's first wife, right? They were both created equally, right? They were both created the
They were
same
both
way.
created by God, not by the rib of Adam.
Yeah. So
But then Lilith became corrupted.
so she wanted to be equal to Adam, right? So she was to be beneath Adam. God told her so long story short, Adam wanted to have sex whenever he wanted. He wanted his food, he wanted his cake and eat it too. Lilith was like, nah, you're my equal. And you're not gonna tell me to do this, that, and the third. So they went to the mountain of God, Mount Zion or whatever it was. She called for God. She's like, hey, Adam's telling me what to do, blah, 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 blah. So
And he's like, yo.
so he said, God said, take heed to your husband. You are to take heed to your husband, or you can leave the garden. She left the garden. Now, covering the subject, right? So the story
So then God made Eve out of his rib
and told
after
him
Lilith.
you were to
left.
take heed to your husband.
After Lilith left.
Jewish folklore, ancient Mesopotamia, just do some research, right?
Hmm.
Here's another thing, right? On that note, reason why the Bible has inconsistencies to me, right? So you had Adam and Eve in the beginning, right? Who's next? Cain and Abel?
Never stop wanting to be equal.
Cain and Abel? Yeah, no bullshit. Y'all will never be equal. Women and men ain't equal. We're not equal.
I mean,
Just put it up. So let's keep diving into religion, right? So you got Adam and Eve in the beginning.
It's the most ancient story.
Dude, think about this. Only in this modern society and Western society, right? When fucking men thought that they could be little girls and girls thought that they could be men, this shit has been fucked up with the gender role thingy.
It's gay. It's
But-
quite honestly.
But hold on, we can cover that. But so religion, right? So in the beginning you had Adam and Eve, right?
Yeah.
And then next is what? Cain and Abel? And then Cain kills Abel?
Mhm.
So it's only Adam, Eve, Cain, and Lucifer, right?
Yeah.
So
Wait, what?
the only people that's alive at this time when you look at
Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel, and Lucifer.
Cain killed Abel, so he's gone now.
Ah.
So there's only 4 people now on Earth, right?
Wow. But Lucifer's not a person.
Okay, well we'll just say Adam and Eve and Cain, right?
Okay.
So Cain got what? Banished from the garden or banished from wherever?
Did they have more kids after? I actually am not.
They
sure.
marked his head, right? They marked his head and said, nobody can kill Cain, right? Because Cain says like, oh my God, anybody who sees me is going to kill me. Well, it's only Adam and Eve, right?
Yeah.
It's only Adam and Eve, right? So,
Yeah.
so God puts a mark on Cain's forehead. Says that anybody who kills Cain will be something, something 10 times over, times 10, whatever, right?
Oh wow.
So Cain leaves the garden, right? And he goes to the land of Nod. And in my search and studies, I found out that the land of Nod was the land of the exile, where people got exiled to. Now, Adam and Eve and Cain gets banished. Cain goes to the land of Nod and finds a wife and has a family. Who the fuck is his wife?
Animals.
I think everybody's got to be
Animals.
They make it so that everybody's like 900,000 years old.
But nobody, Adam and Eve didn't have no more kids yet. You know, when they
I
did
see-
start to have kids again, Seth came in place of Abel. So when you look at the genealogy of it,
Yeah, and then Seth is related to Set, which is related to the Egyptian gods too.
Well, what I'm
Because
saying-
Set is
where did Cain's wife come from? If Adam and Eve are the only
that
people,
usurped Osiris. That was very good.
if Adam and Eve are the only people,
No,
where
I
did
understand.
Cain get his wife?
From the animals of this earth.
Listen,
He was fucking a monkey, bro.
listen.
Like,
By the
bro,
way-
this man, they took like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean, bro. Like,
You know, Adam and Eve have been created 7 or 9 times, and that the Adam and Eve that we know of in the Bible are the perfected virgins.
I did not.
No.
So, oh my God, I want to pull up so much shit right now. I want to fucking
But this
reference
is
so
linking a lot. No, this is linking a lot of shit together, like with like, you know what I'm saying, like the iterations of religion and how the spirituality all came to be like formed, and religion came to be formed. You know, of course, there's 9 sets of Adam and Eve. Like that just makes sense if you have these multiple religions being formed over these multiple different time periods. You know what I'm saying? It's like, of course, there's multiple sets as they became more perfected, because as the religions became more sophisticated, they changed per se. You know?
Like the characters developed.
Yes,
if you know,
but the same story. The story basically stayed the same.
well, if you dive into any ancient religion, right? Not nothing in the last couple thousand years, right? Ancient religion, right? Ancient Egypt,
None
ancient
of that
India.
Mormon shit. Get that Mormon shit out of here.
Listen,
Mormons, yo, fuck out of here.
listen to this. I know. Stop knocking on my door. Um, and y'all always come in twos. I feel like you're gonna jump me or something. Like
Christ is
it's
king.
weird, right?
Mormon, your guy. I'm sorry, bro. Your boy ain't it, bro. Christ is the Lord.
I mean, hey, take up your cross and walk with it. But damn, I don't know. I ain't leaving my car. I just got a new Challenger. I ain't taking my cross up. So I ain't taking my cross up. Listen, I know if there is a hell, I'm going. But listen, I don't think I'm gonna have a punishment like theologians would say.
I'm just hoping that I can
Bless you.
create. Oh, but look, like everything that you do is going to be weighed against what else you do.
Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do the weighing? Lucifer?
The Lord, the Lord,
So who punishes people?
the Lord through Lucifer. Often.
Okay. Lucifer ended up in hell, or the ruler of hell, because why? He went against God?
Because he wanted his throne to be ascendant above all.
Why would Lucifer punish people for the same thing that he did?
He actually rewards them in this life.
Now, what if, right? So do you believe in polarity? You know what polarity is, or duality? Everything that there is its opposite of.
The principle of polarity in
I don't
Hermeticism.
know. I'm not.
Look,
I'm not one way or another.
Now we've discussed. He doesn't really want to be on the show, but we've discussed polarity and the principle of polarity. I know that's a Hermetic principle. I'm telling you, bro.
It is.
Don't get too far in this Satanism, bro. You got to be careful, because I'm telling you, if you continue down this path of wanting to be like this, bro, you cannot. You don't have control. You're not in control. You're not in control, bro.
What is, so I don't know about Satanism and all that stuff. I've seen certain books where people give up their soul and offer up a good life. Basically the Illuminati, right? Cool, whatever, right?
That's where this Hermetic shit comes from too. At the end of the day,
But we're gonna lose our souls anyway. But anyway, no, that's not what I wanted to cover just yet, right?
well, it depends. But what I'm saying is, who do you want to own your souls? You never had your soul to begin with.
I have a
Your soul was never yours, because when you come into this earth, your soul's already owned by brought in by the universe. Your soul, you think it's yours? You think that you are the cause of all of this? You came into this life a baby. You don't know what the hell's going on. You don't even know who you are. God owns your soul. That's the only reason you got brought into here to this universe, because the world, or the Lord, or what you want to say, decided, this person is going to be born of this. This is the way that the connection's going to happen. This sperm's going to go into this egg and make this person. So your soul's owned by the Lord, but he might give it to Lucifer if you are a little naughty boy. I'm just saying, you want who do you want to have your soul? That's all I'm asking.
What if I told you that I think that Lucifer has had it the hardest out of anybody in the Bible?
I mean, bro.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you right away. So at your job, right?
But Lucifer's not anybody.
But hold on. What if
Lucifer's an angel of God.
What if at your job, right?
Lucifer's a fourth dimensional being. Lucifer is not.
Hold on, peep this though, peep this. What if at your job, right, they told you, like, look, we only want you scrubbing the toilets. You can only scrub the toilets in the bathrooms. Would you like that job?
I'd make him shine.
You'd make them shine, right? Now let's think about this, right? So polarity, duality, everything that there is its opposite of, right? It's a great Hermetic teaching to learn, by the way.
Look, I know about the Hermeticism.
So hold on. Let me keep it going. So everything that there is its opposite of. So What if the reason why Lucifer is so pissed off and angry, right? What if the reason he's so pissed off is because God told him he has to be the ruler of hell? He has to do the evil side of things. Because, right, in life we know that nothing is one-sided. There is two sides to everything. There is its side and the opposite of it. Now, you got God, the good, the heavenly host, shit's beautiful. Who controls the other side?
Lucifer.
Lucifer. What if God told him he has to take that job and he didn't want to do it? I mean, God created the guy. He was one of God's most beautiful angels. And to me, I'm thinking like, damn, this guy's so pissed off
I mean, the
because
way
he had to
I
do something that he didn't
the
want
way I
to do.
link this in with other religions, though, is I believe that's like
And he has no,
that's like Prometheus,
but he has no
who
power.
brought fire to the people. He brought the power to the people, but
And he was
went
punished
against-
for that.
But he had an eternity of getting his guts ripped out by, because it's like, I understand, like, but he went against the will of what the universe is, bro. So he's like, nah, I want to make the universe in my image. I want to assert that. I want my throne above all thrones. And so God said, all right, bro, then you can rule evil. You'll be above almost every throne, but you'll never supersede me because I am God. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, he
And all throughout the Bible, Lucifer's never been able to beat God in any way.
never.
So, would you say evil existed before God?
No.
So, it says that God is the light, right?
In the Bible.
Who's the dark? And was the dark before?
But is the dark not just the absence of light?
That's true, but it's
So
who controls that?
what is a shadow? A shadow is not something that exists. It's just an absence of the photons being able to pass through your body. And so it creates a shadow. It's not anything but absence.
Well, here's some trippy shit.
You know what I mean?
Here's some trippy shit, right?
It's the absence of having that power in your life. So instead of having that, what you have, you can turn to Lucifer, you can turn to these different dark forces, but you don't have the light of God. You don't have the light of God, bro. You're done.
Peep this, right?
You're just, I mean, bro, you know what? How are you, look, okay, so, like, how are you going to live in the shadows?
Peep this. Did God always exist? From the beginning
He
of
has
time.
no beginning and no ending.
So it says that when God pretty much came into
No
existence.
beginning and no ending.
Listen, it says that when God pretty much came into existence, he was the light. He brought the light upon the universe.
Mm-hmm.
The spectrum of the colors is God, right? But before God, there was an absence of light because God brought the light with him. Before that, it was complete dark abyss. To me, when I read and keep reading the Bible over and over again, it says that in the beginning,
To me,
everything
though,
was without
that's
void
just
and
like
form.
that's just like what is a Minecraft world before you make a Minecraft world? You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're about to go play Minecraft and you're
A
like
complete flat.
you're about to
plain
hit
green.
you're about no, but you're about to hit new world. What happens before you hit that button? I feel like that's what it is, right?
I'm just saying there was a point in where there was darkness, and then when God.
But that's the absence of anything. Okay,
No, keep going.
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's the absence of anything. It's not something on its own, right?
The darkness is crazy to me. I'm so intrigued with
Is
it.
it something on its own? If there's not, you're not there.
Well, when everything,
Nothing's there. If a tree falls and nobody hears it, did it make a sound?
of course,
Yeah. You can
just
say
nobody
that.
heard it. Now let's go to New Testament, like you like. Let's go to New Testament.
all right. Let's go to the New Testament.
What would you like to cover in the New Testament?
I like to cover Jesus when he says, "I'm the way, the truth, and the light. I am the only way through which you can meet the Father. The only way. Jesus is the only one who said he's the only way. The Buddha, all of them, they said, this is a way. This is a way to understand the universe. Jesus is the only way. And all the other religions, they say, yeah, Jesus was like spiritual. He was like a, sort of like the Buddha, you know what I mean? Or like, he was a prophet in Islam, But, all of them, they leave room open. But Jesus said, no, I'm the only way.
What is the way Jesus taught people, or what would you say Jesus' way is to get to heaven?
Jesus' way is to hold, you know, hold people as sacred, and to, he washed the feet of the sinners. He washed the feet of
That's a big blessing too, by the way,
what?
to wash somebody's feet.
Yeah.
Um, so Jesus is the way, right? And it's pretty much by good deeds, truly in your heart.
And truly being humble.
Um,
Like Young Thug, truly humble under God.
Now, what's the difference between
Young Thug.
what Jesus taught, right? Well, off of what Jesus taught, what's the difference between Jesus and Buddha?
The difference between Jesus and Buddha is that Buddha sat under a tree. Was like, bro, this world's like fucking really mean. Like he was the son of a king or something, and then he saw all this evil in the world. He was like, I'm just gonna go sit under a tree, bro. This shit's so scary.
You ever-
Okay, and he's like, look, man, like everything's evil and everything's good, but then. The difference, Jesus walked out and he went and hung out with the lepers. He saw them. He didn't fucking say, oh, get his whole fucking worldview. Like, all right, bro. He said, nah, look, here's the way. Like, you are forgiven. And he was active, like God. God is active. The Buddha was passive. In my opinion. You know what I mean? That's just what I read out of it. Is that Jesus was an active force, like God, because God is the active creating force, and Lucifer is the chaotic passive, is the, masculine and feminine, like the sun and the moon, it's like.
Have you ever read a book called The Yellow Emperor?
You're talking about the.
Do you know who, this is a very serious name. Have you ever heard of the name Lao Tzu? So, he taught, you've heard the name?
Yeah.
Lao Tzu, whenever I started studying Taoism, I kind of got into the name. And the stuff that they taught I felt as though gave me more direction to get to heaven than what is taught in the Bible. And it's honestly basically the same thing as what Jesus taught. You know what I'm saying? Give up materialistic things, do things out the good of your heart, do things with pure intentions. But there's so many people throughout history that have done the same thing that Jesus have done. I'm not real big on a lot of people, but honestly, if you follow the teachings of any of these people, whereas though they said, you know what, do things out the purity of your heart. If you see somebody in need, even though you don't want to, just do it. It's the right thing to do. And you'll go to a great place. Jesus said, I am the only way to the Father, or only way to the Father. You'll only get to the Father through me. To you, what does that mean to you?
It means that, you have to accept Jesus. You have to accept the story for what it is, and you can't,
But
be in denial of that or go against Jesus,
there's a double entendre with this story, though. So, and I'll tell you what that is. So, the New Testament speaks of something that I can't fathom correctly. It said that Jesus died for my sins. So, how do I still sin? If Jesus covered the multitude, right? How is anything I do bad?
Because what Jesus, he said, he used to curse these people in the Old Testament, say, you're so evil, you do this, you're doing that, casting floods upon you. And then he said, like, all right, let's incarnate through human life and experience what happened, the ultimate tragedy of the story of Christ, which is a guy who's virtuous, does everything right, and still, of course, ends up on that cross, nailed. And he experienced the most suffering of the world while committing no sin as the Son, as incarnate God, per se, right? And then, so he experienced all the trouble of the world, although not deserving it. He didn't deserve any of it. And so, through feeling that, You know, he's taking the suffering for you in a sense. You know, person.
So since I was in the Catholic Church, dealt with Catholicism, do you believe in the Holy Trinity? The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit? And if you do, are they three people or are they three in one?
Look, my honest belief on the Trinity in this, I believe it is three. I believe it is one in three, not three in one.
Whenever I
Does that make sense? So it's the one God, the one true God, in the Spirit and in through Jesus Christ.
whenever I read,
But I don't think that it's like if there was a diagram with each thing, it's like an arrow going
Yeah.
to each. It's not as much like, and they go to each other, the Holy Spirit and Christ. But I don't think that either of them can ascend, like are fully able ascendant, except through the power of God. You know what I'm saying? It's like except through the power of the universe. The universe, you know, the universe, God, like that's the ultimate gate.
whenever I read the Bible and I'm trying to understand the Trinity, right? I feel like I'm reading somebody who's schizophrenic. And I say that, right? Because God the Father is himself. And then you got the Holy Spirit that's separate from God allegedly, but is God too. But God the Father has his own essence and does his thing. And the Holy Spirit is separate from God and has its own essence and goes off and does its own thing. And then you got Jesus, this human person who is in the physical realm separately doing its own thing. To me, that's like very schizophrenic, and it's hard to understand that, right? And I can't make it make sense.
Now, I will say, I mean, that's a pretty fair assessment because if you look at a lot of these old saints, I mean, with the wide eyes, you know, the portraits of them bald, like you know what I mean? Like those old pictures of saints that were used to like, you know, they'd spent like that dude looks like he spent a lot of hours in deep spiritual prayer, like maybe too many. Like he's just sitting in a room praying, and he just has his wild hair.
All right, so
Yeah, I agree. I get what you're saying with like the schizophrenic, you know, but at the same time, that is something like the world, bro. It's like
so speaking about
it doesn't
religion,
always make sense. It doesn't always make sense.
speaking about religion, getting to heaven, all that stuff, let's cover this topic.
A lot of stuff in this world doesn't make sense.
Let's cover this topic about, so this is kind of goes with it, you know, relationship with Jesus, getting to heaven, all that other stuff. Let's talk about human connection and unconditional connection. You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. You know, gotta love everyone, man. Gotta love Hitler. Gotta
Oh,
love
hold up,
Stalin.
hold up, real quick. Before we go on, real quick. Hitler is one of my most favorite
What?
prolific people in all of fucking history.
Whoa! Okay, this is
Bro.
a bombshell. Hold on.
Hold up.
Look, YouTube.
Yes, it's a nigga saying this.
It's not. Look,
Just saying. That was
I don't
man.
look,
That was my
man.
man.
Bad guy. I got, you know.
But
I
hold
got
up.
love for the failed artist, you know, like.
Listen though, this guy.
Hold on.
This guy?
Okay.
Listen, yes, he did some racist shit, whatever. So what? But he's one of the most intriguing people. How is it that a blackish brown-eyed guy convinced fucking a whole race of fucking blonde-haired, blue-eyed people that they're the super race and to follow him? And he is not that. How the fuck did he do that?
That is honestly one of the most obvious things that nobody ever
Bro.
fucking thinks about.
You wanna
You're
talk about-
studying in history class and they're like, listen, this is fucking Hitler. And Hitler?
The blonde-haired, blue-eyed race, they're
Yeah.
the super beings.
That's the whole premise of his like ideology.
Bro, if I was going...
And he's sitting there like a short, brown, like black,
hair.
dark-haired,
Black mustache. Bro, if I was going for a job in leadership, I would
If
want to
that
talk to
doesn't
him.
scream CIA, I don't know.
Bro. Bro, he is one of the best leaders ever. You want to talk about him for 2024? You know what I'm saying? Like,
can you?
bro, how did you convince? That's like me going to the KKK. I'm like, yeah, I'm running shit, and this is how we're gonna do it. And I convince all these people to follow me. Oh, how you talk about that's great leadership? That is great leadership. Fuck, the great human connection, unconditional connection. So let's talk about unconditional connection. How? Hold on, I'm still a little shocked. I'm shocked every time. Have you not noticed that? Have that never picked your brain?
More now than ever.
Just fucked you up, didn't it? Listen, man, it just amazes. It baffles me, right? Because I've studied the shit out of that time in history, and like I've seen little videos here and there about how he was just so gun-ho strong about this super race of blonde hair and blue-eyed men, but yet he was not part of it. But somehow these men would die for him. Like I wonder if anybody sat there and was like, bro, you're not one of us. It's thousands of us that have blonde hair and blue eyes, but you're the leader of this, and you're not. Like, come on, man, that's fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
That's fucking
that is pretty crazy,
bro.
You know,
they need to have
it
him.
Makes you like that brings up a lot of questions. You know, like did nobody point that out to him?
But I feel like it kind of points out the weakness of the ideology.
It's like,
what's they're supposed to be following this, but like,
well, that's what I'm saying. It's such
what's really driving there?
It's such a weak ideology, but somehow it took over all of Germany. I mean, that doesn't,
bro.
That doesn't make any sense.
There should be a fucking leadership class solely surrounding this guy. When I go to find out about leadership and all that other stuff, and what I need to do, he needs to be a fucking class.
Hitler 101.
Little 101.
But he failed miserably at the end.
Certainly in war.
Hold up. If
Wait,
America had not gotten involved,
there's not Nazis in Antarctica right now that run the world with the Illuminati.
Hold up. Had not America gotten
Hold on, wait.
What? Listen, had not America got involved in that, everybody over there would have been fucked. It was only until we got involved, until they asked for our help, the European whatever shit asked for our help, that we came in and stopped them. That motherfucker started with a handful of blonde hair, blue eyed people.
And that's because we're Jesus Christ, we're America.
Grew to thousands and fucking started taking over every fucking thing.
Alright, but what do you think would have happened if that kept going? Like, okay, they secured.
We would have had to have gotten involved.
Right.
Or if we would have let it go on and just said, they're doing whatever over there, Hitler would have took over the world.
Or we could have allied.
Or we would have had the atomic bomb.
We would have had to,
But
because if he would have took over Europe,
or we
Middle
would have
East,
become their
Germany,
ally.
or
We take over Canada and Mexico.
dude, fucking Hitler.
You know what I mean? Like, that might be awesome.
Listen, to me, Hitler, and I fucking love Putin, right? I love Vladimir Putin, right? To me, Hitler is fucking Putin on steroids. That's fucking Putin on
He was on a lot of drugs.
Man, listen, if he would have took over Asia, just fucking Europe, what all did he take over? He took over Germany and all that other shit, right? I mean, come on now. He was the first guy to create a fucking flotational hovering device.
I mean, talk about that fucking ally. Talk about that, Japan and Germany, They're all gonna double cross each other in the end.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? Like, it was all fucking, I don't know, man. Look,
According to prophecy,
Hitler was a bad guy, though. Hitler failed.
he
Hitler
did,
ended up as an L at the end of the day.
but everybody loses at the end of the day. Eventually.
Nah, bro.
Dude, you think
Jesus doesn't lose?
think about us, right? America, right?
Does Jesus lose?
Jesus took an L.
When?
That moment that they done whipped that poor man and nailed his dumb ass up.
I think that's kind of the point of that's kind of the point of Jesus, though, is that like through all that he didn't suffer, because like he was fulfilled in that moment. I think that's kind of like the
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He took a dub. He
The
doesn't
draw.
care, bro.
Yeah, but
He ended up with a dub.
I think like that story is like a message to everybody else. Like, you can be up on that cross for no reason except like just completely suffering and still like live through that and still find whatever your soul even through that. I don't know. That's how I see it, at least. It's like
something that intrigues me about that moment is that something that intrigues me about that moment. Murder, rape, all that shit that's bad and sinful. Somebody at the last minute repented and went to heaven. You know what I'm talking about? The thief that was next to him,
Mm-hmm.
Barbarous, whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah.
He repented at the last minute and said he was going to be up in heaven.
Yeah.
At the last minute. So if I can repent at the last minute, I'm going. So I'm like,
No, but if you know, you're fucked.
So
If you know, you know. That's the problem.
So
you know.
Here's my thing, right?
You know damn well. So if you know damn well, then once you understand, then it's over, bro. Because you understand.
Here's my thing, right? This is what I believe in.
You know.
Outside of being spiritual, I believe in God, but I believe in God the way I believe in God. And I believe in God consciously. I would say spiritually, but it's kind of hard to break that down. So me, I have a relationship with God in my own way, right? I don't need religion. I don't need tradition to be like, hey, you need A, B, and C to, get to God. Me, I have this thing, right?
I think that's, yeah. I honestly think that's the best way. Direct connect.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm able to do something that I haven't heard of many people doing, right? I get shit-faced drunk, right? It starts with getting shit-faced drunk, right? I'm at my most vulnerable and emotional state when I'm shit-faced drunk. And I go outside, sometimes damn near down to my boxers. I put my feet on the earth, and I have like this warm tingling in my spine. And I yell for God. And maybe I'm just psychotic, but consciously, I have a voice in my head that I talk with. It doesn't matter if it's freezing fucking cold. I go outside, I'm shit-faced drunk, I'm very vulnerable, I'm very emotional, and I scream for God. And I hear a voice in my fucking head that I talk to, and it isn't my voice. Mm-hmm. And I have a conversation with God in these moments, in these most emotional, vulnerable moments. And to me, that's all I need. Because I swear, like, man, it's even when asking for something materialistic, when I really want something.
I mean, look, is your internet better if it goes through a Wi-Fi router, or if you have a direct, like, if the Wi-Fi goes into the air and then it goes to your computer, or if you have a direct connection?
Well, to me,
you know what I'm saying? It's better if you have the direct connect.
To me, that is my direct connection. Whenever, like I said, I get shit-faced drunk and I get very vulnerable and very emotional. And I feel like, honestly, that is when people can connect to God most, right? Mm. And I say that because I highly believe, a Googleplex believe in manifestation. And my manifestation happens whenever I'm at these vulnerable moments having these conversations. Like,
But you gotta manifest. You can't manifest in your name. Well, I feel like that's the problem. Is like,
well, hold on,
so many people manifest.
I never did
like
nothing.
try to like shape the universe in their name, or like, and they're like, why isn't it work? Like, why am I not a millionaire? Why am I not? And it's like, bro, because you're being sinful.
Well, hold up.
What you're wanting.
Let me give you a scenario, right, of something that I know that I feel like I did, right? I feel like I talked to God, right? Mm. So I had wished that somebody had died, right? And out of nowhere, this person was rushed to the hospital and was gonna die. They had open heart surgery, heart was fixed or whatever. But in those moments of that happening, right? Because I was so angry and I was so emotional. I was like, man, I hope this fucking person dies. I wished it with everything in me, talk to God about it. Out of nowhere. I'm not saying I'm not saying that I did it and it just happened to be coincidence whenever I said this shit. Next thing you know, once out of anger I said what I said in this emotional state, this person goes off to the hospital. And I hurry up and fucking got shit-faced drunk and I turned it off. Or I turned off my anger whenever I knew that this person was gonna die. And I was like, God, please don't let them fucking die. Whatever I need to do, you just please don't let them die. In this emotional state, out of nowhere, this person had surgery, their heart was fixed, it was good. And just coincidentally, everything worked out around the same time I'm saying these things. Mm. To me, that was a manifest fucking station. Like, it fucking, and it wasn't like I had to wait for it. It fucking happened when I said it.
No, it's like
very interesting.
It's almost like a lesson, like, or maybe not a lesson.
Oh, it was a hard fucking lesson.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
but you hear all the time, words have power. You gotta, like, people, it says in the Bible, like, watch what you say. There's death in the tongue. So, like, me,
Christ is Lord.
For some people,
Christ is the Lord, bro.
Muhammad is Lord to others.
Muhammad ain't got shit on Christ, though.
Yeah, that's a weird story.
Now, Muhammad, like, I'll never disrespect. I don't want to disrespect other people's religions. I'm not going to be out of here, like, saying, oh, Muhammad was this, Muhammad was, like, okay. Like, I understand, like, Muhammad had certain power, this and that.
Um,
Christ was the most perfect, bro. The Lamb.
would you say that Christ believed in
Fear
manifestation?
the Lamb.
Would you say Christ believed in manifestation? A lot of people,
Dude, Christ knew.
a lot of people don't know that he actually taught manifestation.
Of course.
One story, people say it's associated with faith, right? The lack of faith. So
No, but you know why manifestation is real over and out? Is because even if you look at it from like a scientifical, like, perspective like that, right?
Mhm.
It's already known, like, through behavioral therapy that your thoughts typically lead to your actions.
Well,
Right. So even in a scientific perspective, what you feel and think is going to manifest in your world. So if you're thinking negatively, then you're going to live negatively.
I believe that
I feel like that makes sense.
I believe that
It's like, it's not something that you can just say, oh, like, I want XYZ, and then it just exists. It's something that it's a relationship,
to me, manifestation is so real. Whenever I dive into religion, I realize that it's taught all the time across all religions. One story specifically, who was it? Peter, that lacked faith and fell into the water, couldn't walk on the water or whatever. And of course, that was basically a story of faith. But Jesus said, "What? You lack faith. You know what I'm saying? If you have more faith, blah blah blah, walking on water is just something that's minuscule on the manifestation level. Like, you can do this all the time, everywhere he went. Honestly, Jesus taught manifestation. The whole story of getting to God, you gotta go through me to get to the Father, right? He told people, like, yo, you can basically manifest these things. You can put your actions into work. You can manifest whatever you want in your life. And I believe that we have that superpower, but we just can't unlock it fully because God was a creator, and manifestation is basically creating something, right? God manifested the world, the universe, everything, so on and so forth. Manifested that shit into being. And us as people, we do the same thing on a smaller level, but we just haven't fully unlocked it yet. And me, I feel like I found the fucking key. I'm trying to tell you, like, if at least this works for me, right? Like I say, when I get shit-faced drunk and I'm in a most vulnerable, for real. And I say that, right? Because, why would alcohol be called spirits?
Yeah.
Alcohol back in the day was called spirits. Sometimes vodka, certain vodka, people will say spirits, right? When I get shit-faced drunk, I unlock something. Or something happens, right? And I'm so vulnerable and I'm so emotional in certain scenarios. And I ask for things or I want things done. And only in these moments, like, I can't just be like, God, I want a white shirt with blue lettering. It's not gonna happen. There's no purity behind it. But when I get shit-faced drunk, when I'm vulnerable, whenever I make myself emotional, very emotional, and something unlocks or whatever, and I have that conversation, and I'm like, hey, I want a white shirt with blue lettering on it. Somehow, I will get a fucking white shirt with blue lettering on it. And I've put this to test time and time again. If I could,
That's the first step to bringing anything into being. Is to say it.
well, I think that,
Or is to say it.
but you gotta say it with purity. Like, it's gotta be pure. Like, it can't be half-assed.
Well, of course, that's yeah. You have to say it seriously.
And I feel
You
like
have to seriously, say, this is what I want.
Do you believe in manifestation?
Yeah.
Do you believe that if
To
you
degrees, think that, there's a lot of weights that go, you know what I mean? It's like what you want is weighed.
Have you tried to tinker around with it? Like, have you tried to apply certain methods and like unlock it?
Yes.
Whatever you have done, always try to go 5 times harder before than you did last time, right? Because at first, right, I remember me first understanding manifestation, right? I would daydream about things
Mm-hmm.
and I would constantly keep it on my brain, right? And all of a sudden, these things would happen. And like I explained it to somebody, like, oh yeah, that's manifestation. I didn't really know about manifestation. But to me, I, to a certain degree, know how to manifest anything that I want. Or I believe in that, but I know people can also look at it from a scientific view. The more you think about something, the more you talk about something, the more you're more likely you're going to put it to action. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's things that's unexplained, such as like I told you, I wish that somebody had died, and then all of a sudden, and I said it in a very vulnerable and emotional state, and that shit was about to happen. And then like finding out the information, the person at the hospital, I'm like, oh fucking shit, it's fucking happening. Nah, I take it back. I'm sorry, I did not know what I was speaking of, type shit. And then all of a sudden, everything worked out. It was fine with something that was supposed to be like a 110% mortality rate.
There's a lot that occurs beyond our comprehension. And I don't think, you know what I mean? I don't know the secret of manifestation, but I don't want to. That's what I'm trying to say here too, is that is what I'm saying is with the masonry and Lucifer. You have to be careful, bro. You have to be careful because you can get a lot in this world. You can go down a lot of these paths, but it's not supposed to be what you want all the time. Anyway, because there's greater forces in you. You have to be careful. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's like there's a lot above you, and there's a lot more important than you. And if you try to assert yourself like you should be the ruler of the universe, that's what can inflict, the harm and the wrath of God through Satan. Because it's like that hermet, the super like woo woo like manifestation or like, hermetic like teachings or like satanic rituals or Masonic fucking symbolism.
I got another mind blowing thing for you.
All right. And after this segment, we gotta end the stream because we've
All right.
gone a long time.
All right.
We went a long. This is a marathon.
All right. Here's one for you. So when things go bad in my life, I blame God. When things go good in my life, I blame Lucifer. And I'll tell you why. So everything I know about biblical history, all the bad things and negative things have come from God. If you just skim the Bible, right? All the bad shit that happens, fucking villages being wiped out, Sodom and Gomorrah, so on and so forth. God caused it, right?
That was a good thing, though.
Well, think about
you don't know though.
Well, think about this, right?
Maybe it was good that they got destroyed.
Well, think about this, right? If things are going good in my life, if good and evil, Lucifer and God's a thing, right? If things are going great in my life, I blame Lucifer. And I say that not as like a praise to him, thank you, Lucifer, I just got 10,000. No, I think that if there is a war between good and bad souls,
You can, dude. That's Satanism, bro.
Hold up real
That's
quick.
Evil.
Hold up real quick.
That's evil, bro.
Let me explain this real quick. And you tell me if it makes sense or not.
That's evil.
Let me explain
You
this real
gotta
quick.
repent. You gotta repent.
Hold
you
up.
guys.
Hold up.
You gotta repent.
Hold up. Let me tell you this real quick. So, when things are going good, right? So, if there's a battle between good and evil, God wants all the good souls, devil wants all the other souls, right? There's going to be a big battle called Armageddon at the end of time, right? If Lucifer wants me on his team, right? Why would he make my life hell? If I wanted you on my
But that's what I'm saying. That's why you have to be careful. You have to repent for these things. You can't be happy about that.
But that's
at the end of days when
listen,
when you're facing the point, you're not going to be happy.
Well, a lot of people praise God for everything that goes good, and they blame Lucifer for everything that goes bad. If Lucifer is the cause for all things bad, why the hell would you want to be on his team?
Nah, I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be on the winning team, you want to be on the winning team, right?
But that's going to be God.
True, right? So if Lucifer causes all these bad things in people's lives, why does he have supporters? Why does he have anybody on his team if he's the one causing the problems?
No, Lucifer won't cause problems.
It says
Lucifer won't cause problems in your life. He'll help your life as long as
Exactly.
you're going along with his agenda.
but what's the
But when you're
agenda?
going with God's agenda, that's why bad things will happen, because you're going and you're speaking truth to power. You're speaking about about good things.
What's Lucifer's agenda though? Does he even have one?
Lucifer's agenda, bro, is to defame God, is to make people not believe in God.
But he himself believes in God.
Exactly. He's a trickery.
So
He's the fucking trickster, bro. Come on, bro.
Come
on.
Hold up though. After reading the Bible, and I've read it fucking time and time again, front to back, back to front. So the one thing I know about Lucifer is that I've never seen any incident where in the Bible or throughout history where Lucifer tried to get people not to believe in God, right? The only thing I've seen is that he creates and wants you to partake in your desires.
To lose faith in God, bro. To put faith in yourself
Well, that's the thing though, right? Even Lucifer,
over God.
even Lucifer himself believes the Almighty. He believes the power of his Father. He believes what he has at his disposal. Lucifer knows these things, right? If you reread the Bible, right, there's not one incident where Lucifer is like, don't believe in God. He can't help you. No, he says this right here. He fucking fucks with your desires. He wants you to have the shit that he thinks that you should have. Whenever he tempted Jesus, what did he say? I'll give you all these nations. I'll do this, that, and the third. Eve, boom, if you eat this apple, you're going to be like God, knowing good and evil. There wasn't technically no deception there. The Bible says that there was a deception, but Lucifer told her the truth. Lucifer told Eve that, hey, if you do this, you're going to be just like God.
I agree, but it's satanic because it's about the placement of the value. And what I'm saying is that you shouldn't even want for yourself at the end of the day. Because it's like, I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know what's going to happen to me. But if I can make other people's lives better, if I can espouse the name of God, if I can speak the word and I can make people's lives better than mine, it's not. So I understand what you're saying. It's like or Lucifer never lies. And Lucifer can provide. But you don't want that smoke, bro. You don't want that fucking... You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want that fucking energy, man. Because, you can do a lot in this world, but, bro, there's a lot more than this world. Because look at what Hitler, he became the fucking chancellor. He became the fucking ruler. He became the power. And then he got fucking put, and then guess what? What I'm saying is, it's about more than just your life here on Earth. It's about your legacy. It's about what you do. It's about what you leave.
What do you feel?
And what you leave this Earth.
Off
It's more than what you
of that.
are on this earth.
Off of that.
It's more important.
What do you feel? Off of
What do you leave behind? You know what I'm saying? Is that I think what you leave behind is more important than what you personally get to do, or like, oh, I get to, you know, it's like,
off of what you said, right? What do you feel whenever a human being is born? What do you feel that the goal of a human being is?
To continue life and to praise
The Creator.
the Creator.
So, all these things that are here on earth, God has created these things, right? Why wouldn't God want me to enjoy the things that He has created and put here for me? It's like, think about this, right? I view it like this. Christmas time, right? You got children, you buy all these things and put them under a tree for your child to enjoy.
Because
If I weren't meant to enjoy it, right? Why would it be here?
Because
God can put boundaries on things, right? Like I can't see heaven. It says in the Bible that we can't break that threshold between the physical and the spiritual while being alive.
Because if God put it here, that doesn't look. What I'm saying is, there's other ways to feel. There's always, you only have a limited amount of time, and so with your limited amount of time, you can choose certain experiences over other experiences. But you cannot experience everything And so you always must make a discernment. You always must make a value judgment. And when you make a value judgment that committing this sin and committing this treachery against God, against the Creator, is better than doing what is in the name of the Lord and doing what's good for other people, then you're choosing yourself and putting your throne higher because you are doing these sins. I understand they exist in this earth, but you don't have infinity. You're not God. You don't have all the time in the world to experience all things. So you can either choose to help the person or you can choose to indulge yourself. You get what I'm saying?
To a degree, right? I believe that we do have all the time in the world. We just don't have all the time in the physical world. So I believe that we're never going to die.
Yeah, but you get reincarnated as a gay frog.
Oh my God.
Okay? You'll be reincarnated as a gay frog if you
That
keep
would
on
suck.
this. Look, you want to keep fucking, doing all this sin. If you do a sins, then
I don't think
you're going to be a gay frog and you get fucked by the other frogs.
I don't think we're ever
You
going
know what I mean? Like,
I don't think we're ever going to die.
Well-
No. I don't think we're ever going to die.
we'll
right?
see.
No, listen. And tell me if this fucks with your brain a little bit. I don't believe we're ever going to die, right? This is going to die. The skin, flesh, and bone, of course.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Hold up real quick. Let me break it down some more.
Almost, yeah.
So, I know right now here on Earth that I'm a sentient being. Is that what it's called? I know that I'm a sentient being, right? I know that whatever's inside me is electric. It's energy, right? And I know for a fact that it is. Because when somebody's dying on a fucking hospital bed, or some victim was just in a car crash, they use shock paddles to shock the fucking spirit back to life. They don't give you water. You don't get food. You get your fucking spirit shocked with shock paddles. We are made of energy.
Yes.
And if so far of what we know about energy is that what? It never disappears. It'll never disappear.
No, I feel you.
It never
I
disappears.
I agree with you.
We are.
But this incarnation, bro, this incarnation of the energy, because you're not Miguel, you're an incarnation of energy.
Oh, listen.
Ancient.
Listen, I battle with this all the time. So me, I believe I coexist in two parts. And it's something that I can physically show you right now. Now, say power out loud. Say it one more time.
Power.
Now say it inside your head. Did you hear it? Now, who are you? Are you the person that says power out loud with your lips, or are you a person that just said it in your head?
I didn't hear anything.
Can you do it? Say power out loud.
Power.
Say it inside your head. Can you hear yourself inside your head?
It's
It's faint, right? It's faint, but you can hear it.
something like it.
You live powers in Jesus. Look, come to the fucking light. At the end of the day, you have to come to the light. You have to repent. You have to repent for your sins, or you're gonna be forever banished in the realm of hell with Satan and Lucifer. You can have all the gay orgy sex. You're gonna be getting fucked in the ass. If that's what you want, then continue on. Okay, because everything that you fuck, you'll be fucked 1,000 times.
Hey, listen, you boys come over here. You party with me and the devil, cause there's gonna be beers, booze, bitches. It's gonna be a hell of a time. Weed. Just think about it. If all the bad.
Anal sex in your ass.
Oh no, I'm fighting. That's why I said as soon as I get down there, as soon as I get down there, bro, as soon as I get down there, I'm gonna be like, devil, check this out, Lucifer, big homie. First of all, mad respect. Mad respect. Hey, big homie.
Dude, we cannot continue this.
Listen.
This is not. I cannot promote this.
Listen, I'm not gonna do fucking 5-point stars and light candles and fucking speak in tongues and all that shit. But I think that if there is a heaven and hell, right?
I love Lucifer, but bro, come on.
Well, when you think about it, right? I can't even fathom heaven, right? I've read Revelations time and time again. The New Jerusalem that comes down out of the heavens, that comes down out of the clouds, the new heavens with 12 gates. The fucking shit is rubies and sapphires on this gate. This is the gate of David. This is the gate of Jacob, so on and so forth. The streets are paved with gold. There's 2 rivers, one with milk and honey. The 12 trees of fruits are there, the greatest fruits in all of existence. And there's no need for light because Jesus is the light. Who the hell? Nigga, I don't want to be there. Sounds too perfect. The hell? It's going to be too... Like, what are we going to be doing? Now let's talk about hell.
Vibing, bro.
Man.
You're vibrating with that high level vibration.
That's
You're
it.
vibrating at the low level vibration with the fucking.
Dude,
you don't want to do that, man.
I
I'm telling
believe-
you don't know what you want, bro. You don't know
I
what
know
you're
it.
getting in.
Listen,
Dude, can you say Christ is Lord? Say Christ is Lord.
Christ is the Lord in the Bible.
Christ is the Lord.
In the Bible.
Come to Christ
The
right
guys
now and be free.
You want to talk
You-
about
I
deception? You
I
want
can
to talk?
save your soul, right?
You wanna talk about-
I can't save your soul, but God can save your soul right now.
You want to talk about?
Right now, right in this moment.
Okay, well listen.
I'm
Let's,
just saying.
let's talk about another great Hitler deception, right? And the Bible has done it. Jesus' name ain't Jesus. J didn't even exist. J didn't even exist.
Christ.
J didn't even exist.
Look, I don't want to hear this. This
Listen,
is blasphemy.
I'm just saying.
I
No,
don't wanna hear
I'm,
this.
no, I'm using straight. I'm using. You know, we added the J. His real name is what? Yeshua.
Yeah, look, man. I understand. I understand what you're getting at.
Hold up, though.
Let me piss.
Who is
Before I
Yeshua?
piss myself.
Wikipedia, Yeshua was a common alternative form of the name Yehoshua in later books of the Hebrew Bible and among Jews of the Second Temple period.
Look at the English spelling at the bottom of it.
So it's the English spelling is Jesus.
So J was not in the. It wasn't in language. It wasn't in. Especially what ancient Hebrew. It wasn't in.
Yeah.
It wasn't in it.
I wouldn't think so.
We added it. Jehovah, who people call God,
Uh-huh.
his name ain't Jehovah. It's Yahweh.
Mm.
When you dive into the educational aspect
Oh,
of things,
like J.
it
like,
didn't exist. Like, hold on.
Like the letter J.
When did J exist? When did the letter J exist?
According to Mar's translation, in 1524, J was added to the English alphabet. Initially, it was considered the same letter as J, although the sounds were different.
Wait, so what's the connection?
So Jesus' name ain't Jesus, right? We did that. We added it. We put that shit together, right? So Jesus' name in the Bible is Yeshua. Thanks, brother. His name is Yeshua. And you'll probably only learn about that in Judaism. But everybody's praying on a name that's wrong. And this is strictly, hold on, this is what I wanted to show you. So this is what I was saying. When did the letter J exist?
According to Mar's translation,
1524.
1524.
J was added to the English alphabet.
Fuck,
Initially,
dude.
So-
it was
You didn't know that?
No.
We added that shit. His name is not his name. You want to talk about a great sin, praying to a false god. We're calling on a name that technically doesn't exist.
No. I will say this.
Like,
A big thing people say against Christianity is like, oh, what about all these pedophiles in the church? This and that.
that's not really Christianity.
That's what
the
I'm
church
saying.
me
Those
and you
aren't real quick.
went. Yeah, that's a Catholic church. I mean, I was
That's
never.
not a Catholic.
No, I was never touched, but for some reason, Catholic fathers, Catholic priests, somehow end up touching little boys. But it's so fucking weird, right?
Because
So they have,
okay,
the Vatican has access to secret texts and shit. Why is it that
if I say I'm Batman, but I don't have any of the gear, and I don't have a Batcave, and I don't have a Batmobile, am I Batman?
if I put on a dress and wear lipstick, am I a girl?
Exactly. So
We
that's
need to
not
have
a
that.
Catholic priest. That's not a Catholic priest.
Man,
Essentially, is the
well,
point.
they be in the church. They be in the church doing that. You see them get
but that's
convicted all the
Satan.
time.
Bro. Satan.
But yeah, man. So
That's Satan, bro.
if people want to partake in any religion, right, whether it be Christianity, Judaism, Taoism, Islam, so on and so forth, right, I would suggest anybody that's following religion, they should do their history and don't just read the Bible and stick with the Bible, because the Bible is misleading in certain ways, such as the letter J. The letter J didn't exist.
I agree.
The
Do your
names weren't the
research,
names.
but know the spirit, man.
I always know the spirit. So hold on.
Hold with the spirit.
The spirit is real, right? I believe so much in the spirit, aka the Holy Spirit. Like the Bible could be, it could be misinterpreted, misleading. One thing you can't
mistranslated.
One thing you can't interpret or mess up, right? You cannot mess up the Holy Spirit. And I'll tell you why. I've come to parties, sometimes here, sometimes other spots down Bowery. I've come to parties, right? And immediately, not even knowing somebody, I've gotten goosebumps like, oh, I just don't like this person. Immediately, it says in the Bible that the Spirit recognizes evil spirits. And what's of the Spirit is for the Spirit. So I've come into places, right? I've come into, and I use party spots just to say, because there's a bunch of people around. People that I don't even know. I get close to them, it's like, oh shit. My spirit's like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah. So the Spirit is real. It's irrefutable, right? So religion, text, all that other stuff can be misleading, misspelled, wrong, lies, whatever. It could be anything. But one thing I know is that my spirit doesn't lie. Because like, and it'll even tell you, right, when you're doing something wrong, right? Say, if you go up to a homeless person and get ready to kick them, something inside you going to be like, oh, this is fucked up. It's real fucked up. And that, to me, that's the Spirit, right? That shit's irrefutable in my life.
And that is why. That is why, bro. That is the answer of why.
I think people should study, do their history, don't stop at the Bible or whatever religion you're partaking in.
Repent.
And also,
Repent.
Also, anybody who does partake in any religion, if you do
When you're studying, repent.
If you do something
change
wrong,
your way.
if you do
You
something
can
wrong,
stay on the same way. If you go away and you're like, okay, there's some fucked up shit here. Like, you're good. That's why Jesus came through in the world. That's why Christ came through. It's like, look, we're ignorant.
definitely.
Even though we have knowledge of good and evil, we're still brought into this world, you know?
Oh, we're fucking Sodom and Gomorrah. We're fucking.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like,
I do
Yeah.
agree with you, right? You call it repenting. Many different names for it. I say this right here. If you do a wrong act and you know it's wrong, say you're fucking sorry. I fucked up. I fucked up. I'm sorry I fucked up.
Make peace. That's a huge step. I mean,
Man, apparently,
that is what essentially repenting is.
in some things that I have read, right? In some religious things I have read, I have heard that before you can get to heaven, you have to make peace with everything in your physical life before you get to the spiritual realm.
That makes sense.
You can't bring no negative baggage to heaven.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Coming before that judgment, you can't have negative baggage. And that is allegedly why people get sent to a bad place, is because they bring a negative energy and negative baggage before the judgment.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have no...
If you can't make peace on this earth, yeah. That makes
well,
complete
that's what I
sense.
heard. Yeah, I heard that you gotta make peace with everything before you can come before God. And if you come before God with all this negative, that you're gonna go to the internal fire.
Now it's super late. I don't mean to prematurely end it.
Yeah, that's
Or
good.
anything.
Shit, we ran it till 1.
Yeah. Hey,
Appreciate you.
I appreciate having you on, Miguel. Dude, we got to run it back.
Oh my
We'll
God.
run it back. Let's get a couple girls in here too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, because I want to talk about the gender thing.
Yeah. We'll get a couple of girls in here. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
I
saying?
want
Like,
to talk about it.
we can get in here with like Maggie and Maddie or some shit.
Oh my
That would
God.
be funny.
Maddie
Maggie and Maddie.
hey, fuck it. I'm cool with it. I want to talk about pronouns and gender roles and all that shit.
All right. We also will
Okay.
get in others.
Oh, I think it should be a full house. I think I think the bed should
that would
be
be
full.
fun. That would
Yeah.
The bed should be.
Should be full. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Just
Bunnies everywhere. Fuck it.
All right.
I'm coming with I don't know what I'm gonna wear.
Next time it can be
With
even
a
more
robe.
better. But this is just the beginning. This is the first live episode I've ever fucking done. And look, the live episodes, no one even typed in the chat. I get it. Like, I don't expect anything. I understand. I just am saying, bro, live is so much more fun. It's so much more fun because we're just here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to fucking think about it later. I'm not like, oh, it's just done.
Am I able
And
to
then I'm going to hit stop and it's already uploaded. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I love about live. And anyway, all right. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Thank you.
love, peace, and hair grease?
Love, peace, hair grease. Repent before you go to hell. Sayonara, motherfuckers.
Am I able to rewatch this?